That's readable, right? I feel like I should have just brought the mouse over here.
As long as you can read it, it's fine. I can't read it.
Oh yeah, I can read it. I can respond to chat if need be. I got oh wait, I just realized. I guess it doesn't matter all that much. But I probably should switch this over to this. Oh, and I just realized it's that is causing all of those issues. I've already mixed what I needed to. You found a new little hiding space there, Ita? You good? You good, bro?
Got this. The monitors in between herself and the stranger.
Right. Oh, they're both boys.
Oh, boys. Okay.
Both boys. Oh yeah, I gotta put this right here. This is so weird. This is so very weird. Cool. All right. Cool. I mean, we honestly. Oh, let's see if I'm in frame. I am in frame. I'm like so dark over here. Hey, don't mess with that. He's gonna be our little sound guy.
Okay. Well, I mean,
yeah.
better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
That's right.
This is gonna be all B-roll.
That's most of my life.
Oh my goodness. Right? Just
Yeah.
coasting by, just like the bloopers just roll by in the after credits
Yeah.
scene of whoever the main character is.
I'm fine being a non-playable character.
Yeah.
I don't need that much pressure. So
No.
yeah.
Just like the person comes in and sees you every now and then and
Hmm. Oh hey, I know him. Yeah.
Well, hey, this is Real Talk. Hi, I'm Justice, the musician here. If you're watching this live, hi, welcome. If you're watching this on YouTube or any other streaming platform, hi, welcome. We're bringing this little podcasty thing back. And I am super excited. I've been trying to get this guy in a room with me for a long time. Great improviser. Got wonderful, 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 wonderful acting chops. I've seen some of like the plays and stuff like that you've done.
Oh, I can't. I know I don't act. I can't memorize lines.
Can't memorize.
No, that's why I improv. So I don't have to do any preparation. So.
Oh dang! And then also he's having us be part of his show that happens, I believe, every first Saturday.
Every first Saturday except January and July because guests are hard to get on those months.
That's fair. I mean, ooh, you know, I could probably get you some.
Well, it's close to the the first because it's the first Saturday, so it's right around New Year's or around 4th of July. So
oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's just a hassle. So we do 10 shows a year,
oh, okay.
which is enough for us because there's a lot that goes into them.
Dang. But like but yeah, welcome Dave from My Four Dads, and
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming here. This is super last minute. If this is scuff and goes and derails and we could just blame it on ADHD.
That's right.
But yeah, no. So obviously, anyone who like watches me or sees me knows that I have cats. I know you have cats.
Yeah, 3.
3. Yeah. What are the names?
So we have the oldest is Simon. He was my daughter's cat, but she's she's in college now in Austin. And then there's Gilda, who's about 6. She's a tortie. And then there's Dot, who's a forever kitten apparently, because we've had her for 3 years and she's not gotten any bigger.
No, wait, how actually? So we talked a little bit about this, but I didn't actually see like what is her actual size.
I mean, just imagine, mid-size, like a mid-sized kitten. Keep going. She's right about there. That's her body. Yeah, that's her body length. I mean,
That's so
she's still got the head and the tail, but I mean, she's very tiny, very light, and her meows are just complaints. They just that's the way they come out. So I don't know if it's about her size or what, but.
Wait, do all your cats meow?
They do. They all have very different meows. Gilda is just all over the place in weird and funny little meows, and then Simon always sounds angry, even when he's cuddling. So yeah, yeah,
just like
yeah. That's what happens when you have a cat that's raised by a 10-year-old. When we got him, he was our daughter's cat, and a 10-year-old raised him, so he's a little weird.
Oh my goodness! So the 10-year-old's the parent. You're just like the grandparent.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh. But now we have to take care of the grandparent, or as the grandparent, because the parent is out of town.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, no, like so Kylo, he does not meow at all. Like if he meows, like he's really straining to get your attention because you left him alone for too long. But he does not.
Something's wrong when he's meowing.
Something's wrong
Okay.
when he's meowing.
Okay.
Either it's very sad meow where he's outside and I forgot that he was outside.
Oh, they can go outside?
And yes,
Oh,
so I
okay.
take him on walks.
Oh,
I've actually streamed them on walks.
Leashes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have a. Oh yeah, here.
All right. Because we've tried with every cat that we've ever had, and it's never worked.
Oh, it is kind of a struggle.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Well,
not gonna lie, but like this is Ita's because he's the smaller one, and then this is Kylo because he's a big boy.
mm-hmm.
But they like to go outside a lot. They go on the patio. I'm cleaning that up, but like normally they'll eat my garden. Fun time.
Sure.
When you're trying to grow things, they're just natural killers.
Yeah. Well, they love to dig too. I mean, we have the plants. Any plant inside. We just had a big. I forget what they're called. Not a monster plant, but these big, huge, long leaves. And my wife trimmed
Like
it
a
down.
monstera?
Yeah, kind of. But my wife trimmed it down, so there's only 2 coming out now. But and it's about 4 feet up. But they love getting in that and
Oh yeah.
rooting in.
Like when I had like I have this like fake tree now that they love to like rub and
Oh, okay.
play with. But I used to have like a real papaya tree that I grew from like a little seed or whatever.
Mhm.
But they would always constantly like jump on that or scratch it because papaya trees grow pretty big and they got a nice stalk for them like to scratch on.
Ah.
So yeah, but yeah, no, like they just go around, man, and they'll try to like. Lately, they'll go out and then they'll realize that the outside world is the outside world.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, no.
Yeah, these have all been strays, and they have no interest in going outside anymore. They knew the life, and they know what they have now, so they're
Really?
good. They're good. And we got another one trying to come in now, so.
It's like, hey, it's rough out there. It looks pretty nice. I see the hot chocolate over on the end.
It's true. We the one that's outside, we've named him Sandy Dick. And we even got him fixed. So we had a group come in and take care of that. But he just sits by our big window and just because we live above a gallery, and so we've got this big huge roof area, and he just sits and stares at us all day long. It makes us feel pretty bad a lot of the times. But I mean, like, I don't know, 4 cats for such a small apartment. I don't know if we can do that. So,
Jesus Christ.
but ask me again in a year. We'll see.
You know what we need to do? We just need to invest in like a building, created a cat cafe.
All for it. I'm
All
there
for
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just improv shows in the back, cats in the front.
Yeah. Cats are not. I mean, they're not going to be barking during the scenes.
They're not gonna bark.
I mean, you might get a meow or whatnot, but you can incorporate that. If you're an improviser, we
That's
have
a suggestion right there.
Exactly. So yeah, they'd be great. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Right. So now that we're on the subject of improv,
No more cat talk.
cat talk, right? Honestly, we could talk about cats all.
It's a problem. Yeah.
I think it's a blessing.
I mean, I meant blessing.
I meant curse.
That's right.
Every single day, I'm at the mercy of these tyrants.
They're wonderful tyrants to be at the mercy of.
I mean, do you cuddle with your cats?
All
I
the
know
time.
we just-
Hey, we're still talking about cats, right?
Yeah, we're still talking about cats. Sorry, no. I literally got back on it because I just thought like wonderful tyrant that just like is a needy cuddle baby.
Yes, they are.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But seriously, what got you into improv? Like, what brought you into the fold? Because
Yeah. I grew up like a comedy and pro wrestling nerd when I was a kid. And I kind of got away. I kind of got away from the pro wrestling, but I was still always a comedy. And then, just movie nerds. I was actually my dad was a huge prude, and I would actually like the age of 12, we'd rent like 10 movies from the grocery store, and this is the 80s. And
Hollywood Video.
yeah,
Blockbuster.
oh, it was before Hollywood Video and Blockbuster.
really?
Yeah, it was like Smith's grocery store. Gene and Judy's Appliance Center. They were the first ones in our town in Arizona to rent videos. We would rent a VCR. But anyway, we'd get like a bunch of movies on Friday night, and I would have to watch them to see if they were appropriate for my father, because my dad would get extremely upset every time anything sexual occurred on screen. Even if it was said, if it was just said, if there was just an innuendo, he would get upset, and he would take the tape out and throw it against the wall. He did that twice. Those tapes were like $100, back then.
Hold on. How old are you? Because I can't imagine. What I'm picturing here is just this 7-year-old kid going into a grocery store, saved up all of their allowance, goes and be like, okay, goes in a secret room, closet with their little video, plays it, watches it, and is like, is this appropriate for my dad?
Pretty much. I was probably closer to 11, 12 at that point, and I looked older. I always looked older. Yeah. And but yeah, I would rent them, and I would just watch them first in my room to see if they were okay. And it was maybe 1 in 8 was okay for.
What type of family did you grow up?
Yeah, no, it was rough. He was. My mom was fine; she could watch anything, but yeah, you had to be careful. I say that to say this. So yeah, I got into movies, and I did a lot of in the '90s. I did some independent film stuff. Mm-hmm. I did my own movie, and I realized that's not what I wanted to do, and so I moved all around, but still comedy and everything. When we finally moved to San Antonio, this was probably 2012. And I, at my new job, I had a lot of time to listen to what I wanted to listen to, and that was when I was starting to hear a lot of improv podcasts, particularly Comedy Bang Bang, and stuff in that area. And so I listened to a lot of that, and I was never much of a performer, even when I did the movie and I act. Like I said, I was a terrible actor. I'm not good at memorizing lines. And so that was not something that was on my bingo card for me to ever do, is perform on stage. So I'll come down a little bit. My sister, my older sister, my only sibling, she is about 3 years older than me. She was a performer. She did a lot of plays and singing and everything back in high school, and all throughout her life, she was a performer. She was, a spokesperson, and she did late night infomercials, and she started getting sick. She had breast cancer, and at first they were able to take care of everything, but then it came back. And when it came back, she started losing a lot of her abilities, her motor abilities. And she's no longer walking, then, things just got progressively worse because, it metastasized and went out other places. But what I had some real introspection at that point. I was I think I was give away my age here. I was 40, 41 then.
Oh, what? I thought you were 40, 41 now.
No, I just turned 50.
That's looking young and good.
Well, no, I looked. It's all that time I looked old as a kid.
So you just finally
Yeah, I mean, I've been shaving my head for 23 years, so it's hard to see the difference. But yeah. So and I realized I've got all these capabilities. And I don't do anything with it. I didn't really have any outside friends outside of my family, which was just a tiny family unit. And I'd never really challenged myself. And I kind of felt guilty about that, because here my sister loved to perform, loved to do all these things. So I'm going to put myself out there. And I took my first improv class in January of 2017. And I think it's a cliche, but I mean, it literally does change your life.
It is a cult, yeah.
And it's a wonderful cult. But yeah, it does. The freedom to, at that age, with everything that's going on, and just being able to just play. And when did it? The idea that grown-ups can't be silly and can't play. When I'm confused as to when that started. You know.
I feel like that's such a like because I feel like that comes from like the 50s into the 80s into like just generationally. Like, 'cause like I think there was like a time where like me growing up, like I was told like some of the stuff that I like now is like my grandparents even were like, when are you gonna get over that like kid stuff? When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? Right? And it's like that idea of like we live in such this domineering society that tries to tell us what we can and cannot be, that like we forget that like no, we can be whatever we want. And I think that like there's a little bit of envy because like the idea that like imagine working like a desk job day in and day out and stuff like that, and being stressed and tired, having to worry about all the things that are going on, and then seeing someone else just living their life on stage, being like, oh man, that must be such a privilege that you have the time to escape the realities that we live in. It's like, well, everyone technically has that ability to do it. We just do it in different ways. Some of us watch TV, some of us play video games, some of us do improv. Like, and also like, so like on this channel and on here in general, like I'm a big advocate of like bettering yourself and doing and all this stuff like that, but also community, right? So like going to parks, going to libraries, like I don't understand why like all of a sudden the moment you graduate high school, you're no longer allowed to go to a library or you're allowed to go to a park.
Yeah.
It's like I remember as a kid just hanging out. There was like 40, 50-year-old dudes playing basketball, and I played basketball with them. And I'd be like, well, that's community. That's all it is. And that's like improv and comedy is just the same. Like, you know, there's adult shows, but there's also like all ages shows in improv as well.
Absolutely.
And there's games and there's short form and there's long form. And there's all these ways to like express yourself as a performer. And I think, what was it? Josh Johnson recently did a thing, but like it's something that's been on my mind as well. It's just like the idea of transactional relationships. So like the idea that like
which is bad to do in improv if you're starting out.
Yes, that number one. Number one, no transactions.
No transactions, and you know each other.
And
you know each other.
And you do not start at the beginning. You start in the middle.
Start in the middle.
Start in the middle.
Sorry.
No one talks about that. Everyone knows yes and I think that's where everyone's collective knowledge of improv stops.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And I have opinions about yes and as well.
Oh, okay.
But the idea that like you can no longer have fun or you can no longer do the silly things that you want to do. Like I feel like sometimes we take life a little too seriously, but that's because there are very serious moments in life, right? And there are things that ground us, but
I think, and it's also how you were raised. I mean, I know. For an example, we're just talking with some friends, and like they were talking about this house that they bought, and it was their first house, her and her husband, and one of the things that they had to have was a laundry room with a sink. And the only reason they needed that was, I mean, they were raised with one, and they thought they needed that. And I talk to my wife all the time. It's like, I grew up with carpeting in the house, you know, all over the house, and my wife hates carpeting. And when we just had our 25th anniversary, and thank you very much. No carpeting in our house, but she hated it. And one of the reasons, at first I didn't understand. I'm like, no, that's what you do. You get a house that has carpeting.
Yeah.
I mean, carpeting is normal. So I mean, if it's not just what's not in your life that you're not used to. It's all those assumptions you make about what you feel.
What's normal?
What is normal?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, I never saw my dad be goofy or anything. So it wasn't like that was in my house. My mom wasn't that way either. So, yeah, you really have to, those things you really have to put yourself out there and kind of challenge yourself, and it's up to you. But that's not to say that, like, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum, because honestly, I was happy, you know, not having a lot of friends and just delving into movies, you know, and watching movies and enjoying thinking about movies in my own mind and like maybe participating sometimes online with things. But I mean, like that was fine with me. I didn't even know I needed this. Turns out I did, but I would have been okay had I not gone into improv. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah, like and it's one of those because like not to because I do want to backtrack eventually on something, but I do want to expand upon this. Where like my first performance that I saw of you was BSM Dave.
I think I remember you were there. I think the reason
Yeah, no, go ahead. Call me out.
I will call just because I remember this comment because I never remembered these things. I was wearing a striped shirt.
Yeah.
And I said, one of the first things I said, I'm wearing one of my little boy shirts. And you're like, and I heard from the audience, yeah, you are. That was you, right? Okay. Just the way you said that, I was like, oh, all right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But I was very self-conscious about that shirt, so I'm like, I'm just going to draw attention to it.
Right? And it was so great.
Because it was like something a middle schooler in the 1950s would wear. I don't even know why it's in my wardrobe.
It was Stand By Me vibe.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was just such an all-encapsulating performance because it was just something that I've never seen before. So my improv journey is very different from yours.
Right.
Like you started off in 2017. I started off in 2010.
Okay.
And when I started off, I did it in school. Funny enough, I was in like high school / college at the time, so
Okay.
I was just a wee teen.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did it, like we would do like school competitions. We would go to LA and meet all these like musical performers. And
Where was this at? So you were near LA, or you were in
This was in
Southern
San
California?
Diego.
Okay.
So I went to a school called Claremont. But if you've ever heard of Ridgemont High, movie.
Fast Times? Oh yeah.
Ridgemont High?
That's a film my dad couldn't watch.
Yeah, that film was based off of the high school I went to.
Oh, okay. So Cameron Crowe went to that school
He
to
went to that
undercover.
school, and also Kendra from Playboy was at the school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
at the time. All right.
at
Did she marry?
2004.
Did she marry Hugh?
I don't know.
Okay. She
I
was
don't-
one of his girls, though, right?
She was one
Okay.
of his girls. She was one of the girls next door.
That's
on
right.
E.
That's right.
And yeah, that's a whole nother thing. but yeah, so like growing up there, like I went to this school and we did improv. We would do all these performances and stuff like that. And so I didn't realize how different West Coast improv was to San Antonio improv, but I did it in high school, and
Okay.
then like I graduated, and then I just never got to touch it again. And it just went on and on. I always did like little. Like I still did like skits on YouTube. I would do these random videos on a channel that will not be named because no one will find it. I don't even know if I have access to it anymore. But
I think I got one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had all these little performance stuff like that, and then the like somewhere along the way, I got. Like a friend of mine got me back into Dropout, and Dropout was full improv performance stuff like that. I don't know if you know what Dropout is.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
So imagine Netflix, but for improv
Okay.
and comedy and all that stuff like that, like stand up and improv and like construction shows, D&D, all that stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's like a show called Dimension 20.
I'm thinking of like I remember CISO. You remember that? It was like
I remember CISO.
yeah, CISO was good.
CISO was good.
It had a lot of good improv stuff on there too. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
After this, I definitely will show you some Dropout stuff.
Okay.
Just cause, but they're a great company. They're ran by Sam Reich. It's the old College Humor people.
Oh,
sort of. But they do profit sharing with all their employees. They do a bunch of good stuff. They're unionized and all that jazz, and they make sure they pay for auditions. Like even if you're not on the set, they'll pay for you to audition.
Damn.
And they're just really good. Like they're changing the industry. They're very explorative as far as content's concerned. And yeah, I mean they're just really good. But the more important thing is like I started watching this stuff and I was like I really miss improv, and so I actually took some things at Comedy Sports because I was like, oh, maybe I can do some improv. Is there even improv in me? Do adults even do improv? Because I found out like about UCB and stuff like that, and I was like, well, it was like 2023, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do 101 and 201 over there at Comedy Sports, and then I started doing. I found out that the Denials they did improv over at the
Sure.
Overtime, and stuff like that, and so I would do stuff over there.
Can I ask you, because, I've not done, I've lived all around, but I've only been in improv in San Antonio, and I've been other places and done improv, but I've never, at like LA and Chicago,
Yeah.
where it was like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like, one of the underlying things of improv, which is a relief for San Antonio, one of the underlying things in like places like LA and Chicago specifically is that there's more steps beyond improv. You're doing improv as a tool to maybe do something else.
Like voice acting.
Yeah,
or acting or
things like that. Whereas, and I don't know how much of that is the case. That's what I've gotten from other people who've gone there and come back.
I would say in any major city, so like you would see this in probably Dallas and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio gives me San Diego vibes.
Okay.
In the sense that like big city, small town energy.
Yeah.
Like in San Diego, I can go and I knew my neighbors. I can go in the neighborhood. I could run around and people would know me, despite the fact that we're a big city.
Yeah.
Right. And like you could go around and people are like super friendly, chill, and vibing. LA is hustle culture.
Yeah.
LA is we are constantly working for something with something else. And like San Antonio, don't get me wrong, has that in certain pockets of its area, but San Antonio is much more of a lax vibe. And I don't know if, because like I know UCB is like very much like pushing it.
Yeah, but nobody who's doing improv in San Antonio is doing it to get noticed.
Yeah, funny enough, that is fair. No, that's not. Oh no, that's not true.
Hey,
I'm not going to name you.
All right,
but
all right.
After this,
Afterwards,
I could tell you there's a few people.
Like noticed by who? I mean,
right. There's a few people that I feel like you know. That
okay,
we both know,
okay, all right.
That are, but like I think that what it is like, I think it's the level of passion that any one person has, and from my understanding, from what I've been told, Comedy Sports has always been about like community. Like even in LA, they have Comedy Sports in LA, but that Comedy Sports is very much like community based. Where like you have UCB, you have what's the other one? It's East Coast. I'm trying to remember. Because UCB is Berkeley.
Right.
Shoot, I'm trying to remember the other one. Oh, whatever. But there's these multiple, like Chicago's big, New York's big, LA's big, right? Seattle has an improv scene, right? And then you have
IO was one.
IO.
Was one in Chicago. I don't know if they're still around anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. But the whole entire idea between that is like you are working and you are getting seen, and people like from SNL are picking you up.
Right.
People like from, and so like
Lauren Michaels is not checking out Comedy Sports San Antonio.
I don't think a lot of people. San Antonio also doesn't have that like. San Antonio is very much a home. Like there's people that come out of San Antonio, but like I don't know if you've seen anyone from San Antonio. It's hard to leave San Antonio.
That's true.
Like
true.
How many times have you had a conversation with someone? And this is a very San Antonio thing. I've been all around. I've been North Carolina. I've been to the UK. I've been to Canada. I've been to Seattle. I've been to and anywhere in between in these small little places. Halifax. No one knows Halifax, Virginia. But nowhere does a place I've been be like, oh yeah, Warren High School. Oh, are you over by like Castle Hills High School? Like they name high schools and middle schools as if that's a location that everybody knows. And there's certain people who have just never left San Antonio. Yeah. And I've talked to people from all over, and even they travel more. People from San Antonio, for some reason, have a hard time leaving San Antonio. And it's not like by choice. It's just out of like, I don't know, this cultural fear or what. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's hard to be well-traveled if you're from San Antonio.
We've been here 14 years, and we do. I mean, we loved it. We met in New York City. We lived in Seattle, nice. Hampton Roads, Virginia, Arizona, and it's we found our people here. So I mean, we're not saying we're going to be here forever, but I mean, for right now, it's been great.
I mean, people are really friendly here. People are very vibey here in a way that I don't. I mean, I felt in other places, but there is this weird, like going back to the transactional, hey, perfect transition. Going back to the transactional like relationship and idea stuff like that. It is very much like, because we live in such an online social media, everyone's trying to make it, everyone's trying to climb and not be in this weird pit space, that it is kind of like, oh, you're making connections stuff like that, and you get this weird duality, and it's weird because like I think improv in San Antonio is very much like people are just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think even music is like that, and I think that even gardening. Like I was talking to my drummer, like whereas like it's weird that creative or utilitarian hobbies have this idea. Like so, for example, if a person builds a car, right? You don't think of that as like a hobby or a fun, cool little thing. You think of that as a utility thing. I know I can call that friend to help me with my car.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing if maybe they're a gardener, or if they like build things, like they build cabinets or they work on homes and construction. Right? We don't think of those things as like, oh, that's a fun, cool little hobby.
Right.
We think of that like, oh, that's a person trying to do a career. Right? They're not trying to learn something just to learn it. They're trying to do something with that. Whereas when you look at like musicians or improvers or comedians or artists, like drawers and stuff like that, whether that's digital or what have you, we look at those as like hobbies. Like that's not a real career goal. That's a you're doing that for fun.
It's true.
You're
It's
gonna,
true.
You know, but like people who build computers, like I like to like modify and build my computer every now and then, both for like just make sure that I can have all this going, but also in general just to like just see how it works, because I like learning new things. And it's just weird to have that weird duality of like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, and it's weird because when you get into a professional space with it, it does become it is weird because you're now in this professional space where you're interacting with a mix of people who are like taking this deathly seriously, like life or death.
Yeah.
And they're like, you better be on your shit or else I will blow a lid. And other people who are like, hey, what's up, guys? We're just here vibing.
Yep. And there's yeah, you're right. I mean, I have even run into people like that in improv who just do take it very, very seriously. And I do too, you know, but I mean, like,
well, you got to, but
Yeah.
like, it's also about having fun. Like, take it seriously when you're trying to improve yourself, but don't take it out on
yeah, no, I mean, like, no, I would never. My favorite thing is to, as much as I love My Four Dads or BS and Dave or Method Man or any of the ones that I'm in, Peapod, my favorite thing is to actually play with somebody who I've not met before and have never played with. I have no idea about what their style is. I have no idea their level of experience, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because because as soon as lights go up, it's just
reaction.
It's just reaction. That's like my favorite thing in the world to do.
It is truly fun. This is getting into another thing that this is my pitch. Also, just real quick, because I see people in the chat, and I do want to bring it up so that I can play. If you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want to say or do, please feel free. I've got this man for this night, temporarily. I should just grab the mouse. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
That's all right. That's all right.
But yes, just really quickly here, just so I can say hi. Hi, Kiki Man. Thank you so much. And then hi, Echo. Need some clarification. No translation in improv. I'm one of those people who've only ever heard the yes and thing. So. Yeah, we can actually get into that real quick, but I do want to. I'm gonna pitch this idea at you at some point.
All right.
So when it comes to transactions, the problem with transactions, and it's not really a problem because there are ways to make transactions work, and you can get out of that. But for beginners, it's very hard to get out of a transaction. Because once you start making it monetary, and it doesn't have to be like money or anything like that, but once you start making it this, that, this, there's no plot, character development, or there's no game to be had, right? Because it is just an exchange of idea.
And when we talk about like rules of improv, it's really just for people starting out and beginning.
Yeah.
Just so that they don't develop bad habits, and it's the easiest way up the mountain is. Okay, your characters have a relationship. You know each other. It's not a transactional thing. It's not a how-to. It's not a how to build a canoe. That scene is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Now, once you have experience, and it's also yes and, but once you have experience, you can get away with doing transactional scenes, how-to scenes, and no but the hell out of a scene, and it can still be
It works.
Yeah, exactly.
And like even with the like for example with the kayak thing, it's like, hey, let's build a kayak, stuff like that. It's like, dang it, Jerry, you're doing it wrong,
Yeah.
and then that builds because it's a launching pad, but some people forget that it's a launching pad and they stay on the pad and they don't launch.
Yeah. Or they talk about the thing, but they don't do the thing.
Oh.
They talk about their trip to Vegas. Just go to fucking Vegas.
Or the like, and again, it's the like they could talk about it, but if they're monologuing at that point, it's just like, oh well, it's not, the scene's not going anywhere, and the monologue's probably just not that interesting. Like one of the funniest things I think I find in improv is they tell you don't be funny.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is the absurdity.
Yeah. You're not gonna go. You should never go up there to tell jokes. Which is so my mom never got to see me do improv, but if she did, I know every week she would be asking me, so how's the stand-up going?
Oh.
To her it would have been exactly the same thing, and it still is to a lot of people. I still get that. I'm like, I know do you have any stand-up coming up? I'm like, never. I'm like, I don't do stand-up.
You expect me to write things?
I always figure so. All praise to stand-up folks. It's very hard. It's very thankless. It takes a lot of skill. There's a lot of room for error. I always say that see, if I did stand-up, and well, first, since I do improv, if nobody laughs, they can say, hey, he didn't know what he was going to say when he went up on stage. If I do stand-up and bomb, I know exactly what I was going to say when I went up on stage. So I've got like a little form of armor on me in that, hey, this is all improv. We don't know what's going to be said.
Well, also, and I guess this could work in stand-up as well, but in improv, if nobody laughs, that can be a tension builder, whereas no one laughs at your punchline. In comedy, you're like, and I'm not funny.
Yeah.
Whereas
if you can build a dramatic scene in improv and get people at least listening to you, I'm not talking about a bad scene where nobody laughs, but if you get a dramatic scene, you could have the weakest little funny aside, and it will kill because you just spent 5 minutes or whatever it is just building up this dramatic, and they want to let go. And that's the thing too. Improv crowds I think are different than stand-up crowds. Some guys go to improv thinking it's stand-up, but improv they see it as risky. I feel like, and they want you to succeed for the most part. I've never seen a heckler in my 650 shows. I've never seen a heckler.
It's hard to heckle in improv because at that point you're just using it as like part of the scene.
Yeah, I mean we've had drunks and we've had people who've been inebriated say things or try to come on stage, but we've never had a heckler. Whereas stand-up, it feels like they kind of go to maybe see some failure.
Yeah. Well, they go to be like, I bet I could be funnier than this person. Or in this social media age, they go and be like, if I heckle this person, maybe I'll be on their whatever.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do love watching clips of comics tearing down hecklers. That's one of my favorite things.
You know what I know. Well, you don't know what I know. What he knows. Well, you know that. How will you know what I know?
Oh, so good. So good.
But like. It is also like one of those things where like I think so many people associate, because most people know either now drop out, or like back in the day, like when I grew up, Whose Line Is It Anyway was like the biggest improv thing that everyone knew, and that was comedy. And so like, and also you have the Improv Comedy Club, and like, so I think that people associate improv with comedy, but like here's the thing: is improv is not comedy. Improv is basically a writer's room where no one knows what's going to go on.
That's fair. Yeah.
Where it's like, because like I've done and I've seen very dramatic scenes of improv, like that are not funny at all. Like it is not meant to be funny. It was not intentionally funny. It's just, this is a very sad, somber. Like I think it was one where this dude goes with a person, and I think just straight up they die, like their partner dies, and then the rest of the show is just them improving through these like different stages of death and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that stuff fascinates me. I would love to try some dramatic and serious, all the way through improv. But yeah, it's but there's really no
Audience for it.
no. I think there's an audience for it, but at least the stages that I go to, it's just not there. And it's also like getting buy-in with other folks. I'm sure they want to do it, but like it's hard to set that in the middle of a comedy show because you do associate the improv with comedy, and I want to try to entertain these people. I think we could doing some dramatic stuff, but it's just I got to pick the spot, I guess.
I think you have done a little bit with the like you have comedy in there, but there are moments where you guys will have a scene that goes on like for 2 or 3 minutes where it does get a little bit serious, and then like you said, you do the little joke, and then boom,
Yeah.
it's like you or Brian will be like we'll say something and then it'll just kill, but like there are times where like I yearn for like character realness in a weird sense. Like when I enter, and I don't know how you enter an improv scene, but for me, when I enter an improv scene, it is very much like I'm going to, like, once I go, I'm going to figure out what the established things are, and I'm going to figure out who my character is in this scene. Sometimes you come preloaded, right?
Yeah.
We say it's improv, but we do have, what are they called, like, safety net characters?
I don't give a shit. I'm going to do a Scottish accent in this next scene.
Yeah, right.
Whatever it is, I'll make it fit.
It's improv. It'll always fit.
Yeah.
But sometimes what I'll try to do, which is I guess very weird, is that I'll try to figure out what my character is in its entirety, like full backstory and everything, and then I'll be like, whatever the scene is how would I react, or how would this react, this character react within this circumstance, no matter how absurd the circumstance is, no matter how serious or how funny, no matter what is, how would this character growing up in this world react and act and portray themselves and walk through this life. I think one of my one of the ones I did was like I think I walked in and no one wanted to walk up with me.
Yeah.
And so
There's always that.
yeah, and so I was just there, and this was over at the Little Improv Theater.
Okay.
And I was walking in, and I invited all my friends, and this was like my first like long form improv show.
Oh no.
And I invited all my friends, and they had never seen me do improv. And I'm walking up, and I was like, because like some of the people I was working with maybe were just like, oh, I'm a strong personality, I know that. But there was just like no one walked up with me. Some of these people were like nervous and stuff like that. And I'm just like, hello? I'm all alone. And then I'm all like, I speak to the void. Will the void speak back to me?
Yeah. You got to find a reason for there to be nobody on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
And then off to the distance, one of my partners that I like had been doing during the practice sessions and stuff like that, like, did not come on stage, but off camera's like, yeah, what do you want, dude? And then I am by myself having a conversation with him on stage as he is the void, and I'm all like, I speak to the void speaks back to me.
We do that with Brian all the time too. We just leave him on stage, and because he doesn't really need much. He used to actually do 15 minutes of something called silent stupidity, and he would get the host of that night to just read some cards, but he would never say a word. And they'd get a suggestion because the host would get it for him, and he'd just act out the scene completely silently. He might get some booth help.
Okay.
But really, I mean, that was amazing. He keeps threatening to do that.
Just full object work?
Just full object work, and just emotion and face, and just portraying it all through his eyes and his...
Just that level of emotion, it is very much that, like, that I feel like that's like just theater background.
Well, I think so too. You know, all the other dads, Jason, Kevin, and Brian, they're all actually, great actors. They actually have been in acting and everything. I am not. I am.
Wait, how did you all meet? Sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, no. We basically met through. I met Brian. They did a. So it was going to be this was 2017. So it's the year I started. November of that year, they were doing. I'm still taking classes. I'm not part of Comedy Sports or anything. I'm not in a team. But they were doing the theaters together, and there was Bear Stage. You remember Bear Stage? I love Bear Stage. Bear Stage was, down by the Pearl, and they would get together and do a tournament. It's called Improv Royale, and so these were random teams that they put together, and most of them had like 5 or 6 people on them. And I went to the night where they picked it, and it's all these improvisers I did not know. It took a lot for me to actually go ahead and do it, because I'd stuck with the training, even though that first improv practice was just so much flop sweat that I didn't even know if I'd come back or not. So glad I did. But so I put my name in for this, and Brian pulls the first name, and it's a fellow named Phil. Phil Zosophes, who's on. Yeah,
wait, okay.
Yeah, so he's a guy in his late 60s, and he's like, well, we know Phil, we know what he's about, and then he picked this name Dave, and he's like, who the fuck is this guy? And I came out and I gave him a hug, and because he asked for a hug, and because he asked for a hug, I gave him a really long hug, and that was the first time we met, and somebody suggested, I think it was Phil or Brian, they suggested, since we're all, none of us are real young. Granted, we're not as old as Phil.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But we started. We needed a gimmick for this tournament, so we started as Grumpy Old Men. Okay. And we did that first round show, and I'd never been on stage other than like a showcase. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'd never really been on anything for like a paying crowd, and just right away it clicked. And like in a lot of ways, my first time was my best time, just because I felt everything build. We told this great story. It was so odd and absurd. Oh wow! And we got a huge ovation. We made it to the finals, and that is when I met Kevin, because Kevin was on the team with the finals.
This is a crazy night for you.
Yeah.
This is like peak, like Big Bang. This is it all.
I'd already known Jason a little because I hadn't taken any classes but Jason was at Comedy Sports, and like I remember him ringing me up for things, and like I think he like hosted one of the showcases that we were on, and Kevin was there, and Kevin's team actually beat us. I still think it. There's a popularity contest, but no, their team was really good. But I mean, we had we did not embarrass ourselves.
Oh no!
So we knew each other from that, and I mentioned to Kevin like that night, I'd love to play with you sometime. So I think it was 2 years later, doing a lot of improv at Bear Stage again. They did gauntlets every now and again. Gauntlet is where they take one improviser, and they're going to run the gauntlet, which means they're going to do a ton of scenes with people that they don't know who's coming up next. Wow. So Brian, I agreed to do the gauntlet, and Brian was going to set it up, and I said, he was talking about, who I'd want to see. He was going to get some surprises anyway. He's like, who do you want to see? And I was like, I want to make sure, that guy Kevin, because he's a good guy. I want to make sure he's in there as well. And so I did the gauntlet. It was like it was great. If it wasn't that first Grumpy Old Men show, that gauntlet was one of my favorite things, because I was on stage for an hour and a half.
Whoa!
I had 13 different improvisers did scenes with, and I think I was proud of all the scenes. They were all very different characters. And the last scene was actually my daughter. Brian brought up my daughter, who was 13 at the time. And that was really special, too, because now she did end up getting an improv, and we do a duo every once in a while when she's in town. But that night, we were the last 4 there. at the theater, just
Vibe.
talking about, and we're just like talking about like we should probably do something. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do and like what our names could be, and we were like talking about like the Family Guys. Now they're like we're always looking at parodies of stuff,
Okay.
and like no, that's some other guys are like at the time were like My Dad's Dinner or something, or Dinner with My Dad. And I remember I grew up in the 80s, so I remember My Two Dads. There was a show with Paul Reiser and Greg Evigan.
I don't know who those people are.
Well, Paul Reiser, Mad About You, he's a comedian at the time. Greg Evigan, you might know him if you saw him, but it was the premise of the show was...
I can feel being yelled at the moment I posted.
Yeah.
I'm already
Yeah.
getting yelled at.
Yeah. The point of the show was like the woman. There was a young girl who's like 13. Her mom dies. She didn't know or didn't want to say who the father was, and it could have either been Paul Reiser or Greg Evigan. So it was called My Two Dads. So I'm like, well, there's four of us. Why not? And I think Brian misremembers this moment. I think he thinks somebody else thought up the name, but it was me. Because
right now.
I'm specifically pointing to my watching of My Two Dads, and so we were My Four Dads. We set up a show. We practiced a few times. We hit it off great. We did a live show at Bear Stage.
Yeah.
And was wonderful. And then COVID.
And then, oh yeah.
But that's how we got together, and that COVID's actually what started Saturday Night Live. So.
Oh really? Oh yeah, that's right. Because you guys did it as an online thing, right?
Well, we couldn't. We were booked a bunch of other places after that first show, but then COVID came, and like, well, we got to keep it up. So we started just getting together online every Saturday night, and then after a while, it's like, well, we should probably brand this. So like, by the time it was, and I love a parody. So I think August, once we got all the graphics together, that's when Saturday Night Live started. So it started online. So.
And now it's like, literally, I feel like you guys sell out every single like the show we did was sold out.
We don't.
Really?
Well, no. Improv's a fickle thing. I mean, it depends on the night, depends on what's going on. Especially here in San Antonio, I love Little Theater, but nobody goes there by accident because it's over here on Starcrest, right? It's not downtown.
Yeah, that's true.
We do well to get a lot of people in there. I'd love to see it packed every time. Sometimes it's a little thinner than others, but most of the time it's a great house. We've had nothing but good shows, though. I'm very proud of our shows because we have amazing guest hosts every time. The dads, we kind of open the show.
Yeah.
But the guest hosts are the hosts of the show. It's just like that other show on Saturday night. We have our musical guest who does 2 performances, and
right.
It's there's a lot of production value, but we're very impressed with it. I'm glad it was. So I hope it sells out Saturday.
I hope it sells out Saturday too, because like when we did it, like I think I've gone to a couple of them. I don't go to every single one.
Yeah, I've seen it a few. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the ones that I've been to, and also the one that we did was like it was crazy because I think there were people just standing in the hallway.
Well,
it's
yeah.
like it's always like it just.
And we had the front, we had the 2 rows up front, which didn't always happen. And we had your equipment on stage too, so then there was stuff everywhere. We were surrounded completely.
It was so crazy.
Yeah.
It was insane, and it was such a warm. One of the things I love about the improv community, and like especially the audience members, but also just like you can tell an artist by their community, like more or less, right? And like when they get super big, then it's like almost out of control because then at that point you're getting new people and stuff like that. But like, man, such a warm community. Like, it was like everyone there was just happy that we were there. They were like, they loved and like laughed at all our dumb bits.
Yep.
They were astounded by our music, and like, it was just one of those things where it just felt so warm and good and so intimate in a way that just like really made you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, we talk about the dads when we practice. We talk about building equity in our audience, and using that equity to do some really weird shit, But if you start off grounded and you build that equity, like, okay, they'll go with you to other places. And I feel like, we've done that with our audience. Generally speaking, any audience that we have, about half or more, maybe 60%, have seen our shows before. And so we've already built equity with them. And what's great about that, the other 40%, when they come in, they see that 60%, just having a good time and enjoying the moment. And that, helps greatly, I think, because if it's all just newbies, it might not be like that because they don't know what to expect yet. Their 60% is comfortable in knowing, they don't know what they're going to get as far as the scenes or whatnot, but they know the flow of the show. They know who we are. They know what we're striving for. They know we're not going to bring in assholes, or at least going to try not to.
You bring in good people. You surround yourselves with good people.
Yeah, when we have the, you see, when you sign up, I have everybody fill out stuff when they're guesting. I have we have the notes in the sign up. Like hey, listen, this is who we are. If you're not, open to, just folks of all kinds. This is probably not the stage for you. Yeah. And so we feel this, and we've had, we don't have a lot of walkouts, but we do a lot of, we have a lot of different people up on stage. Yeah. And I think that, makes for a unique show. But like I said, it's all about the audience just feeling comfy in what we're giving them. And
it is one of those things, especially essentially as a showrunner and as showrunner, producer, and host of the show. It's that responsibility to, like you said, be making sure that you honor the experience, but you also make sure because it is you're getting that I think for every favor you ask, you're asking them to come in, spend their money, be here, so you have to make sure you give that in return.
Yeah.
And that ebb and flow, every time you ask for a favor, you got to also make sure you repay it back.
Yeah, they could be doing anything, literally everything. There's lots of stuff going on. It's a big city.
And one of the great things that I love about improv, and now I'm going to get a little bit more in industry a little bit.
Inside baseball?
Inside baseball.
Okay.
Well, no, just one of the cool things about improv that I enjoy is the fact that your group can do one show, and then the very next day do another show, and it's completely different, right? And you get to take more swings and risks like that. I feel like as a musician, you don't get to do that as often. And one of the things I've been trying to do is musical improv during our shows, where we improv a song on the spot. And it is really one of those things where you have to be. That's such a huge buy-in. You're you spent money to be here, and you like our songs, and you know our songs, and you want us to play. I feel like in comedy, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's you have stand-up, you have the joke that I like. I want to see you do the joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The play Freebird. Yeah. Right. Every night you got to play Freebird, right?
Play Freebird.
Yeah.
And
we don't have that.
Right.
That problem.
And well, not only that, but also the other thing is one of the things that and I only say this because I was recently on a music podcast thing right here.
Okay.
Where they were talking, they were like, well, what do you think the San Antonio music scene is like, and blah, 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 blah. And I think that, a lot of musicians, when you're starting out, it's good to play shows every single day, but as a musician, you want to kind of, cut that. You want to play a show once a month, because the problem is if you're paying, 7 shows a month, well, I've seen your set 7 times. I know exactly what songs you play. I've heard them already. I can listen to them on the radio, and unless you're bringing something new and dynamic, which is kind of hard to do, it's you're literally seeing the same show over and over and over.
Yeah, with the bands, it's because there was a band that I followed when I was living in New York. I found this. I was a huge. Well, I was favorite band of all time, Violent Femmes.
Oh yeah.
So I went and saw them once, and there was an opening band. I'd seen them a few times. I hadn't seen this opening band. It was new. I didn't recognize their name. and my girlfriend at the time and I were at the bar, and like the music pulled me in, and it was the first time like the opening act pulled me in, and I ended up following this band I ended up seeing them like 7 or 8 more times. I love their quirky music, but the best thing about it was like the banter was always different.
Yeah.
You know, and they were a banter heavy band. And as somebody who likes comedy, if the musicians can make me laugh in between songs, all the better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that made each show, even though I was hearing the same songs every time, intriguing, yeah, and interesting, yeah.
Because like, imagine if they just didn't do that at all. It was just the song.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? If you like the band enough, you know that could be enough.
That's very true. I find it like where like at least for me and what I've noticed is that like when people have like you're getting invited and I'm speaking like because it's like one of those things where it's super weird because like I think at least with my band like we used to do those shows over and over and over and over again. And it was very hard for us to get people out at a certain point because you just oversaturate the market. Yeah. But like when you do a show like once a month or once every 6 months, like my band does, all of a sudden people are harping you about when are you going to do this again? When are you going to do this again? What's the next thing? Yeah. And it also gives you time to build towards something different. But in improv, you're doing that every night. Every night is something different. Every night is going to be a new experience, a new show, and it is crazy because also one of the things I love about improv, and one of the things that like I'm a big advocate for like if anyone does, definitely go to a workshop, definitely go to an improv show or take a class even. And the reason I say this is not for you to get into improv, but for the simple fact that when you go into that space where you just let go of everything to a certain extent, right? Obviously, there's rules with that.
I absolutely agree.
But like when you let go of all of the like the absurdities and stuff like that, you can really expand upon like just different things. It's just perspective taking in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's a good thing to point out too is people. Taking an improv class does not mean you have to ever get on stage and perform in front of people.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's about whether it's finding a community or just brushing up on skills that you don't have. Mm-hmm. There's lots of reasons to take it other than getting up on stage, and a lot of people don't. You know, they take workshops and they don't get up on stage, and it's fine. But they're better for having taken in an improv class.
Also, improv really teaches you, like, one, communication skills, but two, like, if you struggle, like, with any type of social skills, improv really, because it is, like, very much, like, we go over, like, consent, we go over, like things, like a lot of the base rules are, like, to get you warmed up to build these habits, but it helps you, like, think critically and socially and make you more observant in your life. Like,
hyper listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it teaches you active hyper listening.
And body awareness.
Yes, absolutely.
Like just paying attention to body language, understanding that even so this is getting me on the yes and thing.
Sure.
Because I feel like what gets.
Did we answer their question about?
Oh yeah, sure. Did we answer the question
about yes and?
Yeah. Oh, you've only ever heard the yes and thing. So yeah. So well, the question was what is transactional relationships and why are they like so the.
Yeah, we did.
We went over the transactional relationship. For the thing about yes and, here's my thing about yes and is, I'm not saying that yes and is bad, and I feel like sometimes when I say this opinion, a lot of people are like, no, that's the whole point of the improv is to say yes and. I'm like, yes. And it's also about making sure that you honor the scene.
Yeah. And
it's also not saying yes to everything. It's saying yes to the situation, not saying being a yes man. Right.
Your character can say no.
Exactly.
It's yes and is it does it you know it's a slogan. It's something to
It's
you know
brandable.
yeah it absolutely is, and it does its job for the most part.
Yeah.
But like if somebody's talking about a subject that you don't want to do or you're not comfortable with, you're not under any obligation to yes and that.
Exactly.
And also, if your character wouldn't say yes to something, as long as you're, being faithful to the scene and the actual context of it, you can say no, and that is a yes because you're still honoring
the choice.
the scene and the choice. Yeah,
You're saying yes to the choice.
It's what they mean when they say yes and talking with beginning improvisers is like, hey, I made you this cupcake, and
yeah, right?
Exactly.
It's like it's. I think a lot of people get confused because, like they think yes and means yes to everything. It's like doing that thing again where you're like, oh, here's a cupcake. You could be like, instead of saying like, no, you didn't. Saying yes and would be like, oh, I don't really like cupcakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still honoring that
Yes.
the cupcake is there.
Exactly.
But I'm saying no to the offer, and that creates tension and all this other stuff. But what a lot of people think is like when they say, oh, I baked you a cupcake. Oh, thank you so much. I love cupcakes. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well,
Well, where do we go from there?
yeah, exactly. Where's the conflict? If you're saying yes to everything, there's no conflict.
Yeah.
You're just agreeing to everything that I do. And especially what sucks is when a character makes a choice and what that person wants is an acknowledgement of the choice and how severe it is. Like, for example, I'm going to get a little dark here. But like,
That's okay.
Right.
I just came from my poor dad's practice where that was dark as hell. So please do.
well, like just imagining like you're just like, oh man, like you're like, ah, I really need another hit of like the heroin and stuff like that. And they're like, oh man, I got some heroin here for you. Now that could make an interesting scene, but would it be, in my opinion, more interesting to be like, need another hit, man? Haven't you had enough?
Yeah, you don't have to. It's especially if it's just the beginning of the scene. You do not have to. You shouldn't be solving all the problems.
Exactly.
Yet.
Don't solve the problem.
And
immediately.
yeah, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a conflict.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It could be a journey. In fact, one of my improviser friends and I, Jaylene, we do a duo called Peapod, which is our characters are always on the same page, and we always agree. There's never any conflict between us. We can have collective conflict of something outside that drives our conversation, but we don't necessarily have to have conflict. But finding the scene and making sure that your partner's taken care of, and you're just honoring the ideas that you're putting out there. That's what it's all about. It's not necessarily you have to say yes to everything.
Exactly. It's saying yes to your partner's choice.
Yeah.
Not saying yes to the situation, but not your character saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's my hot take with yes and.
Yeah.
That's like, I think too often too many people get hung up on the yes and part and not the point is we honor choices and we honor we respect and we try to push.
Yeah, because you want to have something. And I'm big on it's never about the thing.
Yeah.
It's about the relationship. I don't care whatever scene it is.
Yeah.
It's always about the relationship, and there's always you can fix any improv scene by bringing it back to the relationship. I think, I feel, you seem.
Yeah.
Any of those can. They're just the easiest cheats in the world. Some people don't use them, but that's all you have to do is bring it back to if something's not working, talk about the relationship between the people that are on stage.
Exactly. Make something that happens, whether it's tension or comforting, even, right? Like I think there was this one scene, and I don't even know if it was a particularly funny scene. It was just like we broke format because we were supposed to be in one scene, but we ended up taking that part where we did a self-transition into a diner, but we were on a hike on a mountain, and the whole scene was
A cut two?
a cut to, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
but for a majority of the scene, just because the person would not cut the scene off, no one would swipe it or transition it. We just kind of ran out, but we were just on the scene where we were on a jog and we were on a mountain cliff, and we just started talking about like that's a beautiful sunset. And I was like, hey, I love you.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a bro of like just real raw emotion, stuff like that. And then we were stuck, and we were just sitting there for like a minute of silence. And then I was like, you want to get something to eat? And they're like, yeah. And then we did a cut to, and we went to the diner, and the coach, teacher, whatever you want to call them, was all like, you weren't supposed to do that, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, the supposed is, it's like, I mean, we like I said, we just had a practice, and like, you go in when you start a scene. Because it can go literally anywhere. So you can have an idea about where you think it's going to go. But if you start writing that scene in your head, you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, you're in a lot of trouble.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
I swear that the internet died. It's still going. Are we still going? Okay, we're still going. All right. I wanted to make sure sometimes things happen, and we're back.
So when we do the show, when we first came back into in real life shows, we actually I don't know if you saw one of those, but we actually tried to do it like a live internet show, and we had 3 cameras, we had mics.
Jason was telling me about
yeah,
this.
we had
Jason was telling me about this.
we had mics. We had, basically what amounted to commercial breaks, and it was a goddamn nightmare. And nobody was watching our show. We hadn't established shit, I mean, it was like our friend Jimmy in Philly was tuning in every week. But I mean, like, it was so much work for so little payoff. So now we record the shows, and we put them up on our channel, and we break up the scenes usually into segments.
Yes.
Instead of just somebody watching a hour and 45-minute long show,
which is what this is going to be.
That's fine. That's fine. Nothing against hour and 45-minute long shows. For conversations, it's fine. It's good, something you can put down. But for like something you have to watch, it's a little different. But yeah, we stopped doing those after the first year. And yeah, we just have the one camera set up now, and we're fine with that. But we do have a sweet OBS system that you do.
Because Jason rigged it out. He was telling me all of the specs, and I was like, "Oh
my God.
You could do this."
So Jason is actually going to be on a cruise this weekend. So I have to set up the OBS. So I make sure I had him film me setting it up, so I get all the buttons right. It's a ridiculous amount of pressure I don't need.
Wait, so does that mean it's only going to be 3 days?
So one of our funnest things that we can do is that we realize and I mentioned it with you, it was like we're 4 family men who got a lot of different things going on. We're not always going to be available. So occasionally, when one of us is out, we can still do a show. We just bring in a stepdad. So we have a long list of stepdads. We have and it doesn't form to any gender or anything. It's just
Yeah. I do have a question.
Sure.
Though. Do they have to be a IRL parent?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's so cool.
It's just. I think originally we did it, but like, this is stupid. We're not gonna. We don't. We can have anybody be a stepdad, and
that's cool.
So I mean, like, because anybody could be a step parent of something. We just call it's still stepdad, but I mean,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
So we will have a stepdad on Saturday. We're actually doing a show Friday night as well, over at the Overtime Theater for the Friend Zone.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be. We're really looking forward to that. We have a different stepdad during that show. So if you see us twice this week, you'll see us with 2 different forms of My 4 Dads.
By the way, you should really check them out. Their social media links will be down below. This is for YouTube specifically. I have nothing here on Twitch.
Hey,
this was so last minute.
it's literally my four dads improv on all the things, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and as for more than middle-aged guys, that's as much as we can do. So,
man, we talked about a lot of stuff, and I have a lot of thoughts, but I do want to actually do this since we're on this subject right here. One of the things that I've really wanted to do with you guys, and so this is something that I just really want to do. So I do D&D, and do you know what D&D is?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually used to do at one of the other theaters. We did it was my D4 with my four dads. So it was a D&D type.
Someone already beat me to it.
I'm sorry.
Because I really wanted to do that. Well, I honestly want to just do it with improvers because I do D&D. Like I'll be doing this Friday. Actually, we'll be doing a D&D.
Have you seen Monsternomicon?
I have not seen
Okay.
I've tried. Their shows also sell out.
They do. They're at the Woodlawn now, though.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if they're selling out there.
Okay.
But I know they're doing really well. So, but they're at the Woodlawn. They're like once a month, and it's a campaign show. So
Yeah, I definitely have to check out at least one of their shows one of these days. I was in one of their writing rooms when they were doing a rehearsal and stuff
Cool.
like that. But the one of the things that I really want to do is just like whether it is on here or just just personal off to the side. I've always wanted to do an improv game with improvisers because in my mind, D&D and improv are just like so similar to
100%. I never grew up with it. I didn't know anybody growing up who did D&D. I think I first heard about it from a cousin when I was 13 years old when I visited them in Vegas. But we had a friend right before we moved out here who was big into it, and he had my wife and another friend and I do we were all first timers, just do a little game, and it was so much fun, and it's all improv. Yeah, it's all. I mean, you get suggestions from the DMs. Yeah, great scene. All right, it's good.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
And I love it because one of the things is like improvers, where I get a lot of people and a lot of people like play different styles and you get different type of players and stuff like that. And I love all of my players. Like so, the one I'm going to be doing on Friday, one of my players is just straight up. He just likes to hit things and do a lot of damage.
Sure.
Always funny. Always plays usually a barbarian. But like that's his play style. That's always great. I have another player that's very theatrical and stuff like that. But one of the things that I love playing with, like, you can always tell if someone does improv or some sort of acting or something like that, it's because they get really into the like if they do drag, if they do costumes, like they're just very theatrical, and so like you see them really create a character before your eyes, and it's one of the most. They don't care about the stats and stuff like that. They're just like, I'm gonna do this crazy thing, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I wonder what a room of that would even feel like as a DM.
Yeah, and I know Bear Stage, one of the first shows that I saw there, I think, was a D&D show where they had, like, the panel on the desk playing it, and, like, they had improvisers kind of acting it out as it was happening. Oh, that's cool. So, and there's a lot of different takes on it, like, and Monsternomicon does a little something different. DM's kind of the host, and the crowd gets to throw the big plush D20, and so there's there on CISO. Speaking back to CISO, there was
really on
I was on board. I was so disappointed because they had the Kids in the Hall, they had the Saturday Night Lives, but they also had like the shows like what's his name? The guy who created Community. I'm forgetting his name now.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon. Harmon Quest. Yeah, they had and Harmon Quest was, and they'd be sitting there at the desk just playing it. But then it would be animated on top of it later. It was so funny.
Hey, CISO, get it together.
No, they're not coming back. Nope. But that's a great element. There's also like a comedy sports game that we do where we have to like, it's just D&D where it's just like we're playing a regular scene, and at some point if you're in the scene you're like, you put your hand on your head and you say, roll for, confidence in something or other. And the booth will roll and tell you, well, you got a 2, so you don't, whatever you're going to do, you don't do that well. next. So there's a lot of different ways, versions of it.
Also, I feel like so when you played D&D, because I'm gonna get onto this now, because I'm a forever DM and stuff like that, and I recently got to play a little bit here and there because some of my friends decided to be kind and be DM for me. But like when you played, how do you treat because it is always different because there's like it does suck when you roll in that one and you're trying to do something and it just does not land and stuff like that, and obviously nat 20 is always a hit and it's exciting. But like as an improver or just as a person, like, how do you treat those? Like, does it affect you? Do you care or not? Do you use it as, like, do you take any opportunity to create an interesting moment, or is it just kind of like...
When I'm playing?
Yeah, when you're playing.
So I've only played twice.
Okay, that's fine.
So, and the other was for a bachelor party, but it was like a very, it was a very specific game with a very specific final boss. But I couldn't say I have a lot of fun. It's not my I wouldn't say it's not my go-to, but I mean I'm not there's not a lot of it going around me. So I don't know, but it's always a lot of fun to game of chance and playing a character, and both of those are two great taste great together. So,
but like you never if you rolled in that one, you just treated it like every other roll, or
I'm sure it would be like improvising and improvising is when you first start out, you the instructors should, they don't always, but they should really establish in everybody firm appreciation for failure.
Yeah.
And because you're going to fail on stage, and it is absolutely okay. And you need to know it's okay so that you come back and try it again, because it's the effort is worthwhile. Mm-hmm. So we deal a lot with just throwing around a fake ball and dropping it, and that's okay as an exercise. So if I roll a 1, I'm going to have fun with that. I'm going to have as much fun with that as I possibly can, whether it backfires and I get killed. We say this all the time on stage. You can shoot me, you can stab me, but how I die is my choice. And it can take 5 minutes, So it's not always, the end is not always the end. So
no, that's true. That's 100% true.
You can have a lot of fun with it.
I fucking love that. No, that's great. It's like I love that, because it is one of those things where it's like at every point, you have control over what you do.
Right.
And I guess it's because I'm so deep into the D&D thing that I see that, but I also see how hard it is for that. Because you're not dealing with people who have gone through that sometimes. That's why we have lines and veils in D&D, right?
What's that?
Lines and veils? Lines and veils is basically, so how in improv we try to get consent,
yes.
So lines and veils is, so we do try to also do that, but lines and veils are basically saying, if something happens, right, we have, a safe word, or a card, or a hand raise, or we have something that says, hey, we're going to do this, or if we're for example, if there's a very emotional scene and a character's being triggered by or something like that, and it wasn't something that was announced, no one knew it was going to happen, the person themselves didn't even know they were going to be, and say they have an emotional reaction, aggressive or repressive, right? Lines and veils give you the tools, and there's a bunch of them online, you can look them up. But what they do is they basically give you all these tools that you set up before what we call a session 0. Usually in one-shots, which is probably what you've done.
Okay.
That's not really a thing because
probably.
It's just such a short thing, and it's usually goal-orientated. But in a session 0, you'll have lines and veils, and basically when that happens, pause the game, and you do a wellness check-in essentially.
Okay.
And you're just hey, what? Do you know what triggered it with that? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to move on? You just do a check-in, because at the end of the day, it is meant to have fun, but sometimes like when you do D&D, especially when you get so involved in the character, you can get wrapped up in its emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And some people cannot separate the character from themselves, and something triggers in both.
Gotcha.
And so now they're in this state where you're like, okay, now we have to pause because obviously we're having some type of thing here, or something we said or something we did in the scene or outside the scene has triggered
Right.
an emotional reaction, and now we have that. And it's a very common thing to the point where there's a whole website that has all of these lines of veils that you can use. Maybe something like, I don't know what that would be in improv other than a self-cut or a self-transition.
Well, I mean, we have the dad conference with my four dads. You know, we
That is such a, okay, can we talk about
Sure.
cheats?
Yeah.
Can we talk about such a cheat?
Yeah, it's such a
it
cheat.
Works every time.
It's such
It
a
works
cheat.
every time.
We said it the first time we did it. It was just like, oh, this is a great cheat. Yeah.
Golly, I think like during ours you did so many dad conferences, and I don't know if that was intentional. If it became, I don't know if at what point it became a bit, or if you guys really needed that many dad conferences.
It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Basically, at dad conference when we're doing a set, we're doing the 4 scenes, but at any point, anyone on stage can call a dad conference, and that's where we all break character and are able to come together. And sometimes it's just maybe to highlight something that somebody might have missed, or that we really wanted to emphasize comedically. Sometimes it's because we don't know what the fuck's going on in the scene. We like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, just so we can not have to muddle through it.
It was just the clarification of just like, is my hand in him or out him?
Yeah.
And then all of you were like, no, it's like this. It's him as you, and you as him, it's him as you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, this just got.
I think I remember that scene now. Yeah.
It was just too crazy. It's on their YouTube.
It is on
such a good. It's one of my favorite. Like I have a lot of scenes that I really like from you guys, but that one just broke me because I was just like, is this a fucking bit or I can't tell anymore. We're so deep in the meta.
It's so weird that people. I'm surprised we don't see other teams doing it, because we never stole it from any. We were very actually. Kenny Rogers is hosting on Saturday the show that she'll be on.
April 4th.
April 4th.
Go buy your tickets.
10 p.m. Little Improv Theater, only $10, and it's BYOB. And they were a big influence on us because they don't necessarily stop to do that, but they'll just stop and break to it's madness when they're on. It's madness. It's like one long. You're gonna enjoy it so much. But that kind of energy where it's like there are kind of no rules. That's what we kind of fed off of, and also the fact that hey, if whatever we're doing really sucks, we can call a dad conference and fix it. And we've had people. We've called dad conference and gotten different suggestions. So if there's like an audible moan or we're like, oh, okay, did we go too far? We were able to do that. Right? Instead of finding a gun in the end table, what did Dave's dad find? And it's and we can redo the scene, or we'll if somebody sometimes we'll always talk about putting up a fan or an audience member and having them replace us. Because you can really do anything with improv, and that's our form is that we can do anything. So
I love that so much. It is truly one of those things where I think the further you get into it, the more you realize that it is Pandora's box. There is just no real limit. The only limit is generally the people you're with, because consent is always still the thing. But in general, usually by that point you all the chemistry is just so there.
Well, I mean that's the most. It's not the most important thing because you can have do good scenes with people that you don't have chemistry. But goddamn, does it help?
Yeah.
And we do. We come from all different backgrounds, and we have I think we share a lot of the same ideologies. Luckily, because I don't think I could do this with people I didn't in this day and age.
Yeah.
But there is a comfort and an implicit trust that we have that we can go anywhere and do anything physical scenes, I think we've all made out with each other on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just gonna happen.
I'd smack
We've,
your ass.
yeah, we've all stabbed each other. We've all throat punched each other. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I felt bad about that, by the way.
I didn't know. That's fine. I mean, I believe I was twerking.
You were twerking.
So I mean,
And I was like,
yeah, yeah.
well, and the reason why, because like normally I like to have consent. No, it's not my first time on stage with you. My first time on stage with you was over at Overtime
That's right.
Theater,
That's right.
and that was at a surprise show. Yeah.
And I think, and one of those I probably meant, and we probably talked about consent beforehand. I'm like, I'm pretty open, as you know. It's hard to, I wouldn't say it's hard to offend me, but I mean, like I've had stuff in my life. I can skew pretty dark.
Yeah.
As far as my stuff goes. So it's a little hard to make it too weird for me.
Right. Well, anything can be a joke as long as it's done tastefully.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I wouldn't even say tastefully. I would amend that to say just artfully.
Artfully.
Because art doesn't have to be tasteful.
Well, I think it has to speak.
Yeah.
It has to say something.
Yeah. You're not doing it for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because like sometimes like there will be things that like people do, and it's like the whole edgy to be edgy thing.
Yeah, I don't.
And sometimes that's just like no, because now you're trying to be offensive, and for some people that is offensive. For other people, you're just like that's lazy.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you're trying to be like, hey, there's this very serious thing, and we're gonna make light of it, but we're gonna make light of it as a way to speak to a greater and grander thing.
Yeah.
That's where you can find both humor and cathartic relief. I think improv, and I think in general art, whether it's comedy, music, or whatever, is a catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
Catharsis, right? It's not. It's meant to say something, but it's not meant to. I don't think art changes directly. I think it changes indirectly.
Yeah.
Right? It shapes our perspective, our worldview, and any good art makes you think. Is how I feel about it. Because I think that's the whole kind of idea is creative self-expression. If we're going to be expressing ourselves, we're all going to be expressing also our biases and our beliefs and everything that we want to say about whatever it is that we're in and the characters and the roles that these people play. Like, I don't think it's possible for us to not do that just as human beings because we all have a lived perspective.
Yeah. And, there are, while we do have the trust and we do have the consent with each other, we do have things that we, feel very strongly about as far as never punching down.
Yeah.
Because we know who we are.
Yeah.
We're four white guys. We are. We can't change that. We got together by accident. We weren't trying to form a four white guy group.
Yeah.
It was all organic. But knowing who we are, knowing what we look like, it's kind of a responsibility for us because we want to be good stewards of improv and have people come back and have people comfortable with us and joining us and doing what we do and what we love. So we know, we it's not hard for us to not be misogynistic because none of us are misogynistic. It's not hard for us to not be racist because none of us are racist. Yeah. But when you produce a show, you have to make sure everybody's on board with that. Yeah. And because you do have some outside elements and it's important. So
to set those boundaries.
To set the boundaries and make sure that, everybody's aware. And, if it is improv, you never know what's going to happen. If something does come up we're not afraid to address it. We had a comedian host during the COVID days. And quite frankly, he kind of went over the line as far across the board with all of us and our other guests at the time, and we had to, we made a point to talk to him about it like immediately during the show and like get his and we sent out we posted apologies to everybody. We did not post his segment because you can find enough of that stuff by accident.
Oh wow.
You know, we don't need to be creating that.
And it's so crazy because you never know until you know. Right. And it's so just
You never
so
think you have to say that to people.
Yeah.
And then the world changes, and you do have to say that to people.
Well, what blows my mind? Okay, so we're gonna. You gave me boundaries, and I want to be very clear. I'm not gonna address these things.
Yeah.
Those I'm gonna still respect those, but I do want to point out stories that I think are
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes.
And I think they're hilariously sad.
Yeah.
Where like, so me and my drummer we're talking about artists, and like it boggles our minds because art is such a like even if you take a so for example like do you know Smash Mouth, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to the singer?
I mean, I know he passed away, and I know he went on didn't he go on a rant on stage or something like that?
Oh, he went full like conspiracy, like full. But here's the thing: is like the rest of the band was not was already having like I guess tension with him or something like that.
Yeah.
And he died in 2020 due to alcoholism.
Yeah.
And COVID, which he didn't believe in.
Right. It was like there were those things where I mean, it was like within a year or two of his death that he was called to carpet for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's crazy is you wrote songs. What boggles my mind is you write songs and they were all hippie chicks, all revolutionary things, and they fought down and they brought down and it's like you talk about this revolution. You have a revolutionary lyric in your own song.
I mean, he was talking about how the malaise of the '90s, when people used to, actually fight for the movements that they believed in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like so you get or like Rancid or like some of these punk artists and stuff like that where you're like anti-establishment, inclusionary, like we're all weirdos and misfits and we all like but we're all human and people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them go on these full things and then you like have these interviews with them or like I think it was like the guitarist of the Misfits or something like that or the singer of the Misfits or whatever. And goes like, "Oh yeah, I don't really think about any of the stuff. I just do the doodly do." And it's like, how do you not think about the music you create? I don't understand how you do not think about the art that you produce.
Right.
Because the art that you produce is your message to the world. However the world interprets that as one thing or the other, but how do you not know your own themes and like, it just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And like a very kind of hilariously like, oh man, imagine being this person but your band or your art is everything opposite of what you are. The irony itself is just hilarious, but also how sad it is that you just do not recognize the art that you're in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I ever buy that.
Really?
I like no. When they say things like, or they say like, I'm not political. You know,
yeah.
It's like
Jelly Roll.
Yeah, like Jelly Roll. I'm like. That's okay. First of all, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And whatever it is protecting the image for either people who purchase his music or won't if he takes one stand or another. I'm like, it's a little late in the game for any kind of coyness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like and this is such a Hamilton lyric, but it's like if you don't stand for nothing, what will you fall for?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like.
It just strikes me as insincere.
Yeah.
Because
you're just trying to protect your wealth. It sounds.
I feel like any other point in time, I think you could get away with that. I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Yeah.
I just think
like,
the toothpaste is all out of the tube. And
I've never heard that phrase before.
You can't put it back in. Have you tried? It's impossible.
I don't want to. It sounds like a mess.
Yeah, give it a shot tonight. You'll be up all night.
Oh my gosh! It just. Sorry, now I'm thinking about like how to get it back in there. But like, yeah, it does feel just a little bit crazy, and also just a little bit disingenuous, right? To say, like, I have no like, because it's different if you're like, and I understand this, like, we're all in our own little culture bubble sometimes, and sometimes expanding outside of that is very hard. But like, I feel like if you're surrounded by people, like, I just feel like communication. We all need to communicate more.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a library.
Absolutely.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But like also just like
They're not just books, by the way.
Right. And like even if you don't know, like you still probably have an opinion about it. If someone tells you something, you can still have an opinion. And guess what? Here's the crazy thing, guys. Pro tip about life: you can always change your opinion.
That's true.
At any point in time, you can always
very
be
true.
like, you know what? And I know it's hard. It's hard. It hits the ego, but I promise you will live.
Yep.
And you will grow.
Yep. I mean, yeah. It'd be if I had. I mean, personally, I mean, the way I was raised. I mean, like, it would have been real easy if to not change my opinion and just have a lot of values and viewpoints that I can't stand today.
Yeah.
And it was difficult making some transitions early in life because, you know, it was against what the household ordered. But I mean, you can, yeah, you get.
No, I get it. My family, same way.
Yeah, I mean, and even later on in life, you know, you're constantly, what is it? The man who, or the person who hasn't changed since. What's the quote? Or it's like some famous quote. I'm terrible. That's why I can't act. I don't remember lines. If you're the same person at 50 that you were at 25, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Oh, this is what I know. It's like, if you can't cringe at yourself, then have you really grown?
Oh, right. Oh my God. Oh.
If you can't cringe, and it's true. Like I cringe at a lot of things, and like the moment I stop cringing at myself is the moment I've either become like fully like, this is who I am, and but I just don't think I'm that type of person, because they always say as you get older, it's like, oh, as you get older, it's gonna get harder. It's as you get older, and I was like, no, because I've hung out with 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds who are just like full of life and still willing to like listen and grow, and like, I just don't think it's an age thing. I think it's really just a personality thing. It's just like, are you willing to, in your age, take the time to actually, like, look at Bernie Sanders. Man's in his 80s, running up and down, and still, like he said some stuff recently, and then he's like, I was wrong. Sorry about that. And I'm like, yeah, it's not an age thing. You can be 80 years old and still change your mind. Like, an old dog can learn new tricks.
It's true. And if you do take improv classes, you'll have friends that are in their 70s and friends that are in their teens, and it's not weird.
Funny enough, because guess what? In order to do improv, the first thing you have to accept is whatever situation you're in.
That's right.
And you also have to be very comfortable with a lot of very different types of people.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of different levels, and, you know, but that's what makes it exciting. And, you know, you're exploring something new with all these different. I can't believe it boggles my mind, the experiences that I've had over the last 9 years. As an adult, a grown-ass man, just all the different people I've got to be silly with.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, just purely silly, and then the fact that it's on stage, then the fact that it's on stage in front of a bunch of other people. That's what a gift, you know?
Were you an introvert as a kid? Like,
I wasn't really an introvert. There was a new one they came up with.
Oh, really?
I forget what it was, but it was like I forget what they called it, but it was like not an introvert, not an extrovert. It was something in between.
Omnivert.
Maybe it was that. I don't know. But you know, I mean, I just wouldn't go on. That wasn't my. I like to think that I could when I was that age, but I knew I wouldn't. I would be too afraid. I'm still not going to karaoke. I can't sing.
Oh, karaoke terrifies me, and I've recently got into it only for the simple fact that my bassist does it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recently started doing it because I'm like, you know, he tells me, if you do it, you'll become a great singer.
Ah.
And because you get immediate feedback, you get to hear everything, and you can figure out what.
That's not the feedback that I want.
I know. It's funny enough. Karaoke is a very also welcoming and warm space.
Yep.
Which is very interesting. And I don't know if that's specifically just San Antonio.
Once again, Brian, Jason, and Kevin can all sing. I'm
Really?
I'm the only one who can't.
Damn. You're the black sheep.
I am. Yeah, definitely, because I'm definitely the darkest too. My
darkest white.
My sense of humor is not light and frothy usually. At least my go-to. But no, they can all sing. There's a lot of. We do there's musical improv too. We've had guests on who.
R.L. Stein.
Yeah, R.L. Stein. Or we've done Boone Graham, great musician out of Austin. I do know another musician out of Austin.
Wow. Where was all of this when I needed it?
I don't know. But we had him he played his ukulele during the Ladad, so it was like a musical Ladad. We had like other guests, our guest hosts were kind of musical.
Ladad?
Yeah, we had a musical Ladad.
What the heck?
Yeah.
When?
This was last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. But I don't feel like that's the only one. I feel like we've had at least 2 musical Ladads, where it wasn't like every scene was a song, but there was constantly music playing in the background, and if you wanted to turn it into a song, you could.
But like you could also get that sitcom-y element of like,
absolutely. It was nice. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds so cool. I've actually thought about doing musical improv, like just being a musician to do it.
Listen, if you can play a keyboard,
I literally can pull one out of my car right now.
I mean, if you can play a keyboard and you do improvised music, there's about probably like 5 teams that would want to snatch you up right now, even in San Antonio. Absolutely, because that's like the hardest thing to find is like because most of the people in the improv community want to do improv. Yes, they might be able to play the piano or the keyboard, but that's not what they want to do in the scene. They want to play during the scene. They don't want to play the keyboard. Yeah. So, there's.
I do both.
I mean, you need to put yourself out there. I mean,
actually, that's actually a very good question for anyone. Like, obviously, there's like going to schools and stuff like that, but it does feel weird. And I'm gonna give my perspective, but I want to know how it's actually done because I feel like you have more experience on this than I do.
So.
But like, I feel like starting a band is like just finding other people and just like joining and just doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like improv just feels like. So with an instrument, right? Like I can pull up with an instrument, and then we can all jam in this living room space. And I feel like that's more normalized than getting a bunch of friends in a room and being like, all right, so who wants to do mind melt?
100%. Yeah. So what's the question?
The question is how do you form a team, how do you get into this space? Bro, outside of doing the school thing, because I'll be honest, when I did the school thing, it's like we did it and then everyone disbanded.
Yeah, and that's, because you did it here, this was right after COVID.
This was right after COVID.
So we lost a theater. One of the other theaters was in flux too, because the overtime was, I don't know if they had moved yet, or were about to move.
They were off of I-10 and Van Strand.
Yeah, and Bandera, I think they were at the time.
Yes.
There are definitely community things that need to be worked out. When we did the Improv Royale, which I'd like to bring back, that was a great way because that was open to every improviser, and a lot of teams, like Grumpy Old Men, were created out of that. So just having that opportunity. The other day we had, Saturday we had one of the shows we did was Well Suited, which is a duo show, but it's surprise duos, which is obviously my favorite thing. So we had about 14 improvisers from around town, and just randomly paired people who have never played together before in their life. And all the time, teams form out of that, So it's not like you put up a flyer with a little pull tabs. It's like right. Improviser wants somebody grounded,
wants someone who is really self-assured with themselves and with others.
early Whose Line Is It Anyway? British,
wow.
British improv, British Whose Line Is It Anyway only.
Wow, you want to go full hipster here.
So no, it is hard. It's just it is part of the thing is but I know like the Little Theater we're trying to make it so there's stuff beyond the class and beyond being on Comedy Sports.
Yeah.
There's avenues into other things, and I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Because like it's one of those things where like for overtime, right? The only reason I got on is because I did the workshops and I was just experienced in my like plethora of like from California over here. Like some of the rules in California are very different than the rules here. Whereas like California, like there's rules here where like you don't take someone else's character. In California, that is what you do. So for example, so you guys have like lightning round, right? Like where like you tag someone out. Over in California, at least where I did it, when you tag someone out, you take their character and move it in a different direction. Over here, that's at least what I've been told is a no-no. You're supposed to bring a new character to the La Ronde. Whereas the La Ronde, in at least in San Diego that I did, when you tag someone out, you're taking that character, but you're taking it in a new direction.
Huh.
Which I think
I don't think I've seen that. I mean, there's games like Billy Goat's Gruff where it's only one person on stage at all times, and you tag in and play all the characters.
Yeah.
But I've not heard that as a thing. I mean, I'm sure we've done that with the dads, tagging in, and they're like, no, I think I could play your character better.
You did it with BS and Dave.
Might probably. Oh, BS and Dave, we do it all the time. We play all the different characters, and we'll play each other, but not specifically like you're saying. That would be a little different. To experience.
Well, I mean, and obviously, I like the way we do it here in Texas as well, where it's like, oh, you're a different character, and you're moving this, you're doing a time jump or whatever to a different moment in the scene. But there is something to be said where it's like when you get different characters to move the scene forward, and it can time jump and all that stuff as well. But the cool thing about it is that, like, you get to see like, oh, where I got tagged out, there's now this new direction that a character I may have created is going, and now we get to see it play out over and over and over in this brand new way. So it's like almost everyone is like watching the scene. But I
tell you what though, I'm not a personally. So I know what I like and I know what I like to do. I'm not a big on form guy. So like the idea of a herald.
Oh, heralds are cool.
I don't personally, and I'm not this. There are people who love personally the idea of like knowing I got to try to do this, and then this, and then this to get here. And if you don't know what herald is, just look it up. I'm not going to go into it.
Well, I'll briefly go into it so that way like the people are not lost. And also like if you watch any type of drop. If you watch like adventuring parties stuff like that, they talk about heralds a lot on that podcast. But essentially, it is basically a test for improvers. It's like
what, it's a test for improv audiences too sometimes.
Yeah, because you're doing a scene, you got to remember what happened in the scene. You got to build up, and then you have the reverse herald, which is basically doing but backwards.
Yeah.
But basically, you're laying up all of these future things to lay out, and you have to hit those pathways.
You got to hit those beats, and I'm like, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit a beat. I want to get to places naturally. So give me like a 20-minute mono scene where it's just two characters.
You just want a straight long form.
Just one scene. Yeah, I just know me, and that's where I have more fun. I could challenge myself to learn that now, but I'm doing pretty good with the challenging myself as an adult. So I feel like I don't have to do a herald. Right.
Yes. Really quickly here. Yes. So for all of you guys joining, I know I'm seeing in out. So just real quickly, briefly, I'm with Dave here from BS and Dave from My Four Dads and all that other stuff. Hi, Angel. How's it going? If you have any questions, this wonderful improviser, wonderful guy, beautiful person. And he's gonna be the host and the person who is allowing my band and even myself, I don't know if I don't think it's that much of a surprise, to be in the La Ronde at the end of the show. But this Saturday on April 4th, we will be at the Little Improv Theater. My band will be the guest on there.
We got the music. You'll be the musical guest on Dead Garden, and then we have our guest hosts who actually run the show.
Yes.
Kenny Rogers from Austin, and then it's filled with the DNL players. Basically, it's we've got My Four Dads. We do an improv set. We've got the Bachelors of Science doing Weekend Science Update. We've got little Jilly Radner, who is a 9-year-old Girl Scout. We'll do her monthly interviews, and then we.
Oh, you guys got rid of the urn?
No, we didn't get Christian. So Christian had to leave. He had to take some time off.
Oh, okay.
But guess what? Christian's going to be our stepdad on Saturday night. So we're so excited to have him back because he was such a huge part of our show from like one of the very first episodes. He was like, he and our friend Crystal were the second ever guest hosts for Dead Night Live. So, yeah, and he brings so much to the table. So we're so happy to have him back. So we've got a great group of players, and then each month we get a new guest host, usually from out of town, sometimes from, we've got Cakewalk who comes in every year from Baltimore. We've got from Justin Kelly who comes in every year from New York. And this is all on their own dime. I mean, it's just the idea that they're willing to come out and do these shows. And listen, on Dead Garden, hey, we know it's a gig night. You know, it's so we appreciate our musical guests because, yeah, we're not in improv for the money.
No. Which, speaking of,
sure, I know you. Yep.
Well, I want to talk about like all of the aspects of the industry because improv is such a weird thing. Like UCB just recently started paying their improvers. They didn't before. It was very much like that, and I understand like it's tough. And you were even telling me like it's like having a theater in Texas in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's you know it's not. It's a big choice to run an improv theater in San Antonio as an exclusive improv theater
that doesn't have anything else going on.
Nothing. I mean, the overhead, just everything. It's difficult. So I mean, yeah, we get for private shows we get paid.
Okay.
You know, and for some traveling events we've been able to get paid. But I mean, really, it's a lot of it is, and I know, you know, artists should know their worth, and we know our worth. We know what we're worth, but we also realistically know the situation. At least here, it's different in other places, but for here, the economy is. If we had to get paid, there wouldn't be a theater a lot of times.
Really?
So I don't think so. I think people are trying to change that, and more power to them. But listen, I'm not. Luckily, I'm in a position. I'm not doing this for the money, obviously. I do it whether I get paid or not, and whether
That's a true artist. No, I was going to say
Yeah.
I agree with you because I'd be doing music whether I got paid
Yeah.
or not. Because like, it is just one of those things where it's like I mean I've done musical performances like that. I still do musical performances where I don't get paid for anything, and I'll even write songs.
Well, you're doing one Saturday.
Yeah. Well, that's not. I mean,
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, you're not getting paid on Saturday.
well, not for that show.
Right.
But I do have a show before that.
Oh, good. All right, good.
I will get paid.
I'm glad you're able to do that.
But like, and 100%, it is literally for the love of the game. Like, I think your show is just so unique. I know it's like a parody and all that stuff like that, but it is one of those things that it's just like, it is one of those things where you just don't see what you guys do too often in the space.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've gone to like the Woodlawn. I've gone to like, I know there's Black Potion, which I still need to go to at some point. I've done overtime. I've done stuff in California, stuff like that. And I think what makes it so unique is the fact that it is such a parody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people in improv spaces are kind of like afraid to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like one of my, I don't know if it's not a pet peeve, but like watching movies or shows or anything where it really bothers me when somebody's being taken advantage of in a show or something. I don't know why. So,
like in a fake scenario.
Yeah, in a fake scenario. But if I felt like I was being taken advantage of for my artistry or whatever it is, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not being taken advantage of, you know. And I know there are situations where artists absolutely are, and like they have the, you know, stage time, the idea of stage time held over their heads for things. Well, you're getting to be on stage and promote.
You're getting exposure.
Whatever, and that's not right. But I mean, it's also not what's going on here. So I don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's always different relationships and different situations that like no one could ever know.
Yeah.
I'm just such an advocate for people being taken care of and stuff
Absolutely,
like that.
absolutely.
But I also recognize there are times where like if you're in a position where you're like, hey, I'm just doing this just to do it. Like there's a guy that my friends like he's a sound engineer, and the dude does not charge. Like he is really good. Like multi-million-dollar platinum level. Good producer. But he just doesn't like his whole entire thing is that like he's an audiophile, and that he takes forever to get a thing done. He's an artist. He's an audiophile, but like
I love watching my. I have a favorite tattooist.
You say tattooist?
Tattooist. Does great work. I love him so much. That motherfucker takes forever to get set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's part of the artistry too. That's they want to do things right.
Yeah, and it's also it's what boggles. This goes back to the conversation we were having earlier, where like people do things as hobbies, and we're like we don't think of them as hobbies. We think of them as utilities. But like for example, like your tattooist and the sound producer guy I know, they just do it for the love of the game. But it's like they have really rare, expensive equipment. They take their time, and I don't know if your guy charges, but this guy definitely does not charge. Or if he does charge, it's kind of like it's almost like one of those things where it's like, oh, for me to charge would be more of a hassle, like the paperwork and everything. Would be more of a pain in the ass than if I were to just do it for free.
Yeah.
Right. And
I gotta declare. I gotta do my taxes then. And I gotta. Yeah.
And you're just like, no, man. Let me just let me get you. And it's like amazing because like it's weird how capitalism has made us feel guilty about like just supporting one another with a craft that we love.
Yeah.
Right? And it is absolutely crazy. By the way, just in case I see some questions here, we're going to get to them. If you have any other additional questions, anything about improv, anything for Dave right here, since I have them, I stole them away for a brief night.
It's a lot of moving parts to get me here. I tell you what.
Honestly, that's not even a joke.
I know. Listen, booking shows is maddening, and so I empathize.
But yeah, so really quickly, I'll finish the statement and then I'll get to the questions here. But like there is something we said where it is a love and it's a passion, and it is a different vibe, and I think that's one of the reasons why my band and also the Baltimore and people in New York and people in Austin, the people in Seattle, California, or wherever they're coming from, all gravitate on their dime or otherwise. We all try to make it work, is because when you feel that like love, support, and you're just like, no, I genuinely just love doing this. You're like, I want to be a part of that because I genuinely love what I do, and the fact that like we could share that love together is just beautiful to me.
Yeah, it's great to be a part of something where all the parts appreciate what everybody is bringing to the table. So I feel like I hope that that's what we give to our guests, is that when they come here, no matter how far, they know that they're appreciated, and that we just couldn't thank them enough, and we give them a good, positive experience.
Oh so. Yeah, you definitely gave us amazing.
Good, I'm glad.
And it's like, and it's one of those things also that like I think the best thing that you could do is take, like, the best way to have fun is to take whatever thing you're doing seriously.
Yes.
You don't take it seriously. Yeah.
We say that all the time. We take this silliness seriously because we put a lot into our show. I mean, we put a lot of time putting all. And you're like, oh, it's improv. You know, you're just on stage. Well, we got a lot of shit going on.
Right.
Videos and graphics and music and things like that. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
That we're still not getting paid for, but that's because we take it seriously, and we get a kick out of the fact that we get to do what we do. So
no one wants to be at a party for 5 hours talking about what they want to eat. Figure out what you want to eat before the party happens, so you can enjoy the party.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and see real quickly here. Do you think there's a correlation that is better improv and funnier comedy, or the worse societies get? Okay, I want to try to understand, so maybe, Angel, you can help me clarify this question here. So the correlation that the better the improv and the funnier the comedy, the worse the society is getting. Okay, so I think I actually understand that. It's like the other person. So, like, I think do you want to kick this off, or do you?
I'm just off the top of my head. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I just think that art, going back to, again, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but like going on how art speaks in general, I think when there's always something going on. I think when something major's going on, you see a lot more artists rebel, like Rodney King riots, like the whole 60s and 70s movement. Right, Watergate and blah blah blah. I think art thrives in commentary, right? Because I think that's like the whole purpose is to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
And I think that it's funny, but like I think art thrives no matter what. I wouldn't say that it's more funny. I think in more dire times we are looking for something cathartic.
I think so, and. Well, it's not always catharsis. I think sometimes it's just escapism because I feel like this is, it's such a good way to heal. It's like I said, I don't know if we were on air when we were talking about this, but like when we talk about the idea of dramatic improv.
Oh yeah.
And when things are very serious, all of a sudden you're stuck in a scene where things are very, very serious on stage, and you're like, this isn't funny. I did not know this improv could go this place. And then all of a sudden something is said that it can even be just slightly funny. If you had said it during a normal day, it would barely get a tee-hee. But because it comes at that point in time where everybody is already on edge, it brings the house down. So I feel like at times like this,
in times of fascism.
In times of fascism, I feel like, especially when, kind of satire is almost dead, because you can't write some of this stuff.
You can't.
And
I find someone to try.
So when you find something in all this seriousness that can give you some sort of release and some sort of laugh, I feel like it might feel like more. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I mean, I've had some really great cleansing laughs in some of the worst times of my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just maybe it does strengthen it. Maybe it's just where your head and heart are at. To where you can, the release is that much more, the buildup is that much more. I don't know.
No, I agree. Like again, that's why I was like, I feel like it is very much cathartic. I do realize I freaking moved the mouse up here.
Why'd you put it back there?
I don't know.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
I'm not doing myself any kind of favors here. No, I mean, like, I agree. Like, it is one of those things where, getting into, like, the worst societies. Yeah, I don't know if it's the worst society, because it depends on what you mean by worst society. Because, and hear me out here. I feel like right now, when we see, I feel like oppressive society would be a better accurate thing because I don't think society is worse.
I've just been calling it the dumbest timeline.
The dumbest timeline. But we're seeing a lot of unification, right? And we're seeing a lot of unity, and we're seeing a lot of support, and we're seeing a lot of people come together. And I think I think the toughest part is that when we're gonna get past this, whatever this is. But I think that's the problem is once we get past it, people become benign, and I'm like, no, that's when we have to even go harder. We have to love each other even more during those times.
Yeah, I used to teach third grade, and it was at a very transitional school, and kids sleep in their cars, visits from the CPS, and when I got there, the school was failing. So the district gave it a bunch of money to have after-school programs and different types of events and everything. And over the course of that year, with that extra funding, we were no longer failing. So what do?
What?
They take away the funding because you don't need it anymore. And then we went back to failing. And I feel like that's kind of like what it is now. And it's just like. In your lips to Carl Sagan's ears. If we can get past this, and people will become comfortable again.
Yeah.
And it will make it easier for us to fail again.
Exactly, and I just think that we have to take the silliness seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
We have to be like, okay, we're here and we're having fun. But for us to keep having fun, we have to be serious about how we run as a world.
Yeah.
Prepping food. I yada yada Watergate. Do you know how many things have happened in history?
There's been a few.
I just yada yada Watergate, yada yada 9/11.
Yeah, yada yada. There's. It goes to show just what recent events can, how recent events can blunt you to past events.
Right, this perspective taking. I remember and it just feels so weird, and I feel like it's been normalized more and more. Because I remember everyone was like 9/11 was just something that you just do not touch. And now because recently, I would say 2016 is kind of when it started, but it was still kind of edgy. But now since COVID happened and then afterwards, between all the hoopla that's been going on, I feel like a lot of 9/11 jokes have been coming up, and it's this weird safe territory, just to be yeah, this is how crazy things are right now that we can look at this and be this was very dumb and make fun of it in a way that's yeah, this was such a dumb thing because we now got the TSA that was all a part of it. We have all of these things that came from this one impact because it was all fear that drove us.
Yeah, we're not in the same room anymore. It's gone far enough to where it's. I remember I grew up with people, Pearl Harbor was a punchline,
Yeah. You
I don't know.
Make fun of anything as long as it wasn't tasteful. What did you say?
Artful.
Artful. As long as it's artful. Your favorite improv is serious setting, which is funny because I've only seen one serious improv, and I wish I could see more. I just don't think it's very common. I think it's very hard to do, and I don't know.
Well, it's hard for me to do because I break all the time.
Yeah.
I break on stage. I break even before I get on stage. I go up there breaking. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a great actor. I'm actually. It's just an outlet. I'm enjoying myself, and sometimes I can get into it and play it straight if I find a strong enough character that I can live in for a while.
Just be the straight man for a little bit.
Well, sometimes big characters. But if I'm just going into it and somebody says something funny, my character is going to be laughing the entire time or breaking up or trying to hide behind Brian.
And
And
he's
I-
going to do a Scottish accent.
And I'm probably a Scottish accent, and it's not because I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the art or to the people that are there watching. It's just like I've performed in front of, I don't know, my biggest, probably like 75 people.
Yeah.
It's improv, folks. It's not music.
Hey, 75 people is
Yeah,
quite a lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot for improv. And I performed for 3, and I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable with knowing that I can have an audience or not. I'm really doing it for me.
Yeah.
At this point, you know, and I feel like anything you work this hard at. Not that I'm working hard, but I mean, like I do put in some hours.
You work pretty hard, man.
For DNL, we do practice improv. You do go to practices, but anything you do that much, you got to enjoy it. So I'm living my best life when I'm on stage for the most part.
Wait, what is a practice like? Because okay, so like when I did a practice, we literally all went to an apartment. This was for the show that I met you at Overtime Theater.
Okay.
But we all went to an apartment. We did this like 3 or 4 times, and we just like practiced in the living room and just did stuff.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, sure, talk about improv and concepts and whatnot, right?
Okay, yeah. We didn't really talk that much about concepts because here's the thing: is I'm not educated on improv.
Okay.
And I feel bad. I'm not educated I'm not even educated on music all that much. I've recently started reading about music,
Okay.
and same with improv. But like, I've always just been one of those people that just kind of like did it.
Well, I mean, if you can do, I mean, I've got no musical talent whatsoever. But I mean, as far as my 4 dads practice, I mean, we get together, you know, we decompress because that's part of it. We catch up because that's part of it, a part of the trust. We do review tape if we've got it.
Oh, really?
We'll look at the last DNL show.
Kind of like a football game.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. And we'll talk about what went well, what didn't go well. We'll say, not that we turn these into skits, but like the best improv usually is something that you could see as a sketch.
Okay.
And we talk about, you know, woulda, coulda, shouldas, which is easy enough to do in improv because you don't know going in what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like sometimes we highlight good moves and bad moves, and then we'll do a couple practice sets of our form and talk about it, just break it down afterwards. But mostly it's about enjoying each other as far as my 4 dads is concerned, and having that time to spend together, and we'll try to make a point of, you know, do other social outings together, just so, you know, it's just, one, it builds the relationship, and 2, it just gives you more material to play with. We try not to be too meta and going into our own lives. I think that's become a theme over the course of doing 7 seasons of Saturday Night Live.
Is that you guys are starting to do inside jokes?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been probably doing them for a while, but we try to keep it at a bare minimum because we do know that there are people who are at our show who have no fucking clue who we are. And so we have to that's what we talk about, building equity.
Yeah.
You know, have a good, solid first scene so that we can get weird or get meta going later on. But, I mean, other improvs, I mean, comedy sports practice is about doing warm-ups, playing those games, talking about how you play those games the best way.
Do games, or do you guys just run through sets?
Where comedy sports or
No, like my 4 dad. Like,
or my 4
when you guys do practice?
We don't do games usually. We
like, even like for warm-ups?
sometimes we'll have like we want to concentrate on maybe being more agreeable and not having a conflict. So maybe we'll have a challenge, but basically we're still practicing our set and how we do our set, which is just our 4 scenes and
Dang.
being nuts.
That's pretty solid. Like, I mean, that sounds. What's crazy enough is that sounds like a music practice.
I mean, it probably is. We only get to do it like maybe we're lucky to do it once a month. So,
Really?
yeah.
Wait, so you have one practice and then you guys just do the show?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
but we're all in other groups, and we're all
So those skills are still.
yeah. I mean, yeah. 3 out of 4 of us are on Comedy Sports, so that's short form that we're doing every week. So I'm usually in about 6 to 8 shows a month. So
you're just getting the reps. In.
yeah, and it's all about reps. I mean, and musicians too. You know, it's like
the more shows you do, the more comfortable you get with it. I do want to actually ask, how did Peas in a Pod form?
So Peapod, Jaylene was on Comedy Sports. We've known each other for years, and once again, it was a Kenny Rogers inspiration.
Kenny Rogers is literally gonna be.
I'm telling you, they're the nexus point. They were in town to do DNL, and they did a workshop, and we ended up doing a scene together, and we just talked about wanting to maybe do a duo, which is great for me. Up until that point, it's usually, I mean, improv's a lot of swinging dicks, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of dudes. So
Wait, that is, okay, we'll get into that after.
yeah.
Let's continue.
So it was nice to be able to, work with, an extremely talented female. Not that I'm not working with extremely talented people, but it's nice. It's different.
Yeah.
And so it makes practice different. It makes performance different. It makes boundaries different.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about what we wanted to do, and I just had an idea of I always like the challenge of peas in a pod, which is something that they do in practice, where it's because there is a lot of conflict in improv, and they think a lot of people think that it's not a scene unless there's conflict.
Yeah.
There's an antagonist or a protagonist, and I'm like, I don't necessarily agree, because I had so many in peas in a pod. The practice you just make sure you're 2 characters who are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And are agreeable. And I'm like, we can do 20-minute sets of that. There's nothing saying that we can't do a 20-minute set where there's no conflict.
Yeah.
And we've been proving that. So I mean,
truly.
Yeah, it's a fun challenge too because we'll be on stage and we'll want to turn into a conflict, but we have to turn right away because that's our gimmick.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a different type of challenge altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I like you said earlier, but I generally like that you are improv is, and that's what it's supposed to be. But I feel like so often there's this culture of trappings of patterns of it has to be this or that or the other. I've been told that short form is not a real improv, and I'm like, it is.
It's bullshit. Absolutely. Now, it's different, yes, and it's sometimes you've got less time to work on that relationship, and you've got a year, especially with if it's a game, yeah, you have to get that in, and it's a different skill. You can do really good, meaningful, impactful short form. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So,
and it is one of those things where the philosophy that it can be anything, and there is no creative limit other than the limits that you place on yourself, is so I feel so valuable and so important, because I think that so often gets lost in these confines of what improv is within this mainstream pop, because I don't know if you feel this or anything like that, but I feel improv is this new wave of improv is hitting a more mainstream level, right? You're getting things have you seen Taskmaster?
No.
It's a show, and I don't know if it's a British show or not. I haven't seen it personally.
Okay.
But it is a improv-esque ABC show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's all these improv shows that are coming out now, and I think this is somewhat to do with Dropout and their popularity and success as an improv platform. Like I said, they're like Netflix but for improv.
Right.
And so but also now we're seeing them enter into these spaces where improv is starting to bleed into these people are creating improv adjacent shows where the show is not improv itself, but it's improv adjacent, where there's a lot of improvisational elements to the show.
Sure.
That's how it's designed. There's no real format to it,
Mhm.
but it is a game show at the end of the day. But the show is like you just don't know what's going to happen, so you improv your way through it. And it is very interesting to see this new surgence of improv, something that like when I did it, it was just like, oh, this is like so weird and no one knows, and I just wouldn't know where to even begin. And even all the way up until like I recently found out that like you could do improv as an adult, like because I always thought like people who did improv, like Who's Lines Anyway or whatever, were just actors that did.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was the other way around.
Right.
And so it is just this weird resurgence of like now all these shows are starting to come out, this popularity, and D&D is also hitting that level of this niche thing that Strauss is trying to become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is just it's a weird time in that space to just be like, oh, this is like right before, like this is like when like comics and video games were at where they were niche at one point. Now super big, super whatever, and have you and stuff like that. And it's, I don't know, it's just very interesting. It's very exciting because now you get to get all these new people who've never done this thing and now get to see what we have always seen, which is just like you can express yourself and it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is one of those things where it's like art is really great for that. Video games are like very fun and like media consumable, but I think improv is very unique. And D&D is very unique, and it's like you literally can do whatever you want. And in the obviously respectful stuff like that, but you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. You can act and be silly, and it's totally cool.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing that with like cosplay's already hit that popularity.
It's nice to see that something like that normalized.
Right? Yeah. Cosplay, drag, all that stuff like that, where it's like we've hit this level where like people are okay with it. Some people say whatever, but for the most part, I feel like society has like normalized it in a way where like we can be expressive, and that's cool.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what Black Ladder is. I don't know if you know what Black Ladder is.
Black Ladder? What's the content? I can't read any of that. So
sorry. Yeah. So they say their favorite type of improv is serious improv. Black Ladder is a good example of.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely look at Black Ladder because I'd love to see that kind of stuff. Like I said, I wish I had more chops and more people willing around me to do it. But yeah, any type of improv. It's. I say my wife is into rock climbing, you know, and she's loves rock climbing, and I'm not big on that.
Really?
I've tried. It's just not something that brings me joy. I like that it brings her joy, but whenever we talk to friends like about our different hobbies, she's like, yeah, she's got a really dangerous hobby. It's rock climbing. I have a dangerous hobby. It's called improv because it is dangerous.
Dangerous to the self.
Oh God, you could hurt yourself so bad on the inside. I've also hurt myself on the outside quite a bit on improv too. But I mean, it's and dramatic improv. Oh my goodness.
You're getting really invested.
Yeah, how dangerous is that? That sounds exciting. It sounds exciting to me. So
it sounds exciting, also, but yeah, it is one of those. Well, it depends on how much of yourself you put into that character.
But once again, I fear that I would be in this very serious scene and I would break for some reason. So
you just be like,
start laughing.
Might be. Have you seen Quiet Place?
No, I know everything about it, but
I laughed way too much in that movie. I felt so bad for the theater.
Oh.
It's got a lot of like symbolism, like all films do. And
Sure.
It's really good stuff like that. There's this one, and it is very good. I've been told what it means. It does not make it any less funny for me. But so there's this scene where there's these creatures and they have supersonic hearing and stuff like that, and you have to be super quiet, right? Except for under certain circumstances. Anyways, they just had a baby.
Yeah,
and
I knew that.
And they're in the middle of like these aliens trying to kill them. And so after they have this baby, they because of the baby being born, they prep for the onslaught of all the aliens coming after them. So what they do is they prep that she's hiding, she's going down into the basement, she's walking down, the place is flooding, right? And so while it's flooding, she grabs a coffin, and so she's grabbing the baby, steps on a nail, screams bloody Mary, but like bites her tongue. The baby starts to cry. Right? It goes wing 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 wing. And so what she does is there's this baby coffin, like literally a literal baby coffin. She puts the baby in the coffin, and then she takes the coffin and closes the baby. No holes, nothing for the baby to breathe. Just puts it in the coffin and pushes it away. And I just laughed because I was just like, that is a fucking crazy scene to put in the middle of this horror movie. This woman just put a baby in a coffin, and I laughed out loud in the middle of a silent theater.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I would do that, and it would I would ruin the trust of my improv partners.
And the audience. Like, sometimes you need that though. Sometimes you need to be like, this is crazy. This is bad. This is bad, and it means something very, very important. And the struggles of motherhood is very important, and stillbirth is a very serious thing. However, you put a baby in a coffin while it was crying, and the mother just felt relief, and you're like, oh, that's so relatable.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
And it just caught me off guard, and that's why I think I just was not expecting them to put a baby in a coffin.
You never expect to put a baby in the coffin.
Never.
Yeah.
But with that, man, we've talked a lot, and it is getting. I'm gonna be real, guys. It's getting late.
It's getting a little late.
But really quickly here,
Sure.
Where can they find you? Where they can get all your socials and all that other stuff like that?
Yeah, just go to My Four Dads. Search My Four Dads. I don't think there's any other company or unit that has that name yet. Or My Four Dads Improv. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and our YouTube channel is where we put basically all our shows broken up. You can see our different guests, our musical guests. Yeah. You can find Undead Garden in there. The different segments. Please check it out. Subscribe if you can, and definitely leave comments.
Likes, follows, and all that.
Yeah, please.
And then, like, what do you got personally, or anything that you like to share or promote, something like that, whether personal or whether like something that you think should get more attention, or?
Oh, that's a good question. I think just improv in general. I think biggest thing, if you even kind of want to do it a little, I think you owe it to yourself to take a step and go seek it out. You're going to be there with people who are all at the same level as you, as well as your instructor who was once at that very same level as well. It's important to remember that any improviser, that's even the ones who've been around forever, at one point they had never done it before. Even if you want to do it just a little bit, it's literally like one of the top 3 decisions I made as an adult.
Top 3.
Oh, absolutely. I could not push that enough, and give it a shot. I just improv in general, plugging improv in general. And if you're in San Antonio this weekend, check out or any first Saturday on except for January and July, come to the little improv theater and check out Saturday Night Live.
Nice. Any other shows? Peapod or like anything like that?
I don't have the schedule out yet for April because it's all month to month. I think that we do have both a BS and Dave and a Peapod on separate Saturdays in April. Oh, and then I'm helping to produce in May. We have a little offshoot of the little improv theater that's called the Improvised Stephen King Company.
Okay. Company.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was. It's the improvised. It's the Improvised Stephen King Theater Company, and that we're doing our second big show. We haven't done one in over a year. Where the first one was, we did an improvised Shining. We did 2 shows of that. In May, we're doing 3 shows. It's improvised Misery. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's. If you think you know Misery, check it out.
Dang. Well then, please go check Dave out. They are amazing. I'll have all their socials and stuff like that. Try to have them in the description below on the YouTube channel. And then, of course, if you're in my Discord, you guys can check it out there as well. I'll probably post a bunch of stuff, as well as our show with my band Undergarden, like Dave said. We'll be performing there as the musical guest. I will also be a improv guest for the La Ronde.
It's the world famous Ladad.
Oh, sorry, the world famous Ladad.
It's trademarked, yeah.
Yeah. My bad. It's not a La Ronde.
It's all right. It's all right.
Ladad. But outside of that, as always, I appreciate all of y'all for watching, whether you're here on YouTube or you're here on the live stream. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, be beautiful, be amazing, and don't forget to be awesome 100%. Remember to be good, remember to do good, find your local community leaders, see what you can do for them, speak out against city council, support one another, love one another, and remember, power to the people. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate y'all. Yeah.
All right.
There.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. That was wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to explain the Civil War.